Boys are going to bring the heat today.
As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to the Crunch Time Sports Show with the...
He's got his ball-knowing hat on. No way you found that somewhere.
What? What's going on? Oh,
What?
Boys like my hat?
We have two ball knowers today.
That's so funny. Great.
Lukas Klotz, the ball knower, and Booner, the ball knower.
You put that on literally right before the show started.
I was talking to you before
At
the
least
show.
I did it.
No, I didn't have the hat on. I was talking to you before the show.
We should, we got to find a way for like one person gets to wear the hat each season. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
we'll
this I
start
get
this
I get
year.
it for the next 12 months because I automatically.
That's fine, Boone. As you bring it to the idea, but then we got to fight for the ball knower hat. We will
Fair
have
enough.
some type of like playoff predictions. Whoever gets the most right.
I would have to think too, to be honest, over the last year of crunch time, with the playoffs, everything we did, I think I would be number one anyways. So,
Jeff would have won this year.
no, Jeff would have been last. Man had like we did it. I had the most right out of everyone.
No, I think we all had like similar amount. But I was saying Jeff because he was the one that was like, "Fellas, it's not happening this year."
No,
Fine.
he said the Bills wouldn't make the playoffs.
I also
I
had
know,
the
but
Rams as a... So we don't need to go at each other for takes.
No,
right?
I'm not. I love my hat. Listen, I didn't want this to happen. I just wanted to be like, hey, hey,
listen.
boo, nice hat. Klotz said, hey, let's have this an award. You know what? No, I disagree. I'm out on it now. I just want to enjoy my nice hat that I have. It came in the mail today.
I don't
go,
need to
Boone. Great
defend my
hat.
takes. I'll just let them out there.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm with you. I want to be the same way. Listen, I love the hat. It's a great hat. Nice.
I like that.
Did you find it online?
Found it somewhere. Came across my desk and I went, I need that.
Came across my desk.
This guy, it just dropped off at your front door.
I don't know, dude. It literally just I got home
it was
today
the tornado.
and they said, yeah.
Yeah.
They literally just said, hey, you got a package. I opened it up and it said ball number. And I went, I feel like I have to wear this today on the show. I don't know who sent me this. What happened? Someone sent it to me and I feel good about it.
Well, I feel good about these new numbers, boys. You look at some of these new numbers. New number changes for the Lions. Some players. Jameer goes from 26 to 0. Posted he never really liked 26 anyway. Jamison goes back to his college number from the Stafford 9 to the back to the 1, which I actually like. That's sweet. And Darren Arnold,
we got a new number 9.
Goes from 0 to 6. Ennis Rakestraw goes from 15 to 9. And then Timmy P 17 to 1-2. 12.
It's not gonna hit the same.
TP12?
17 was iconic. TP12 sounds like you're ripping off
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
I don't like it. You can't do TP12.
Joke, right? It's TP12. I'll roll with it.
Come on now, 1-2.
Yeah.
We'll figure out
Come
something.
on now,
We'll
1-2.
Yeah, well, I
Good
will say
baseball
Jahmyr
coach.
Gibbs second. Well, no, he'll be the most recent 0 in Detroit besides DeAndre Swift.
So Terrion.
Well, I'm
Terrion
saying
this year.
as a running back. I should
Oh,
say.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I like it. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, boys. I think the 0 and 1 are clean. Like I'm pumped up to see it. Like Jahmyr Gibbs rocking the sub-0, and then you got Uno over there with JMO. Like I'm all in for it. Who was number 1 before? Maurice Alexander?
Yeah.
And JMO just never switched from 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
think
should have
so.
switched last year. He should have switched earlier. Because I
You
think
guys
when
know
you
if this is true, by the way, just because I haven't seen reports. Oh, fuck. I think I just put up the wrong comment. Shift God, he says, Terrion doing it for Kyrie's class.
Yeah, I
Kyrie
saw on
Jackson.
his TikTok, he put that up there. Because
That's
Kyrie
dope.
Jackson played for Alabama for a bit, right?
I don't. Maybe.
he was,
I think
he,
so.
he played for Bama,
Yeah.
transferred to Oregon.
I think he wore 6 at Bama. And I could be wrong. I
That's
think
dope,
Terrion might have also worn number 6 in high school. Because I saw Detroit Times put a picture out. I think it was Terrion. I don't know, but I think he might have wore 6 in high school. And then I think Kyrie Jackson was 6 at Bama. I don't know what he was at Oregon, to be honest, but I want to go see.
That's
I
one
like
of the saddest
Hey, I
fucking
like the
things.
new numbers. I know they're odd now with like position You know how positions used to limit numbers and everything. Now it's just free. But everyone just gets whatever they want. So it's
Yeah,
kind of to see.
I think they still have some like rules with it, but I think it's like for some guys, it's like whatever, like it's open, which is
like
cool.
Corners, DBs, you can just do whatever you want now. Those guys are. I mean,
Jamo with 1, dude. I'm pumped to see that.
Yeah.
That's so much better than 9 on a wide receiver, in my opinion. I think 1, like him at, and what's crazy is Jameer was 1 at Bama too. So they both could have been like, I want 1.
And that's why you're probably like, I'll just take 0.
They should Jamo should have just switched last year if 1 was available. Because I think you have to like pay. I don't know how it works, but I think you have to like pay people's jerseys off. Like however many are left in stock, I think you have to buy it out, and then I think the NFL does like an exchange for fans or something. So it's like it's a lot of money for guys to switch jerseys. So I wonder how that goes. How that is like the price range.
I bought my nephew a Jameer jersey for Christmas.
Sad,
like a legit one too. It's a sad case.
An eye out for. And get a good new number.
Damn.
Klotz.
I'm another one.
That's the OG one. That's the one jersey is the one that he broke the Detroit Lions all-time total touchdown record in a season. So you just tell him that. Say he broke a record in that jersey.
That jersey might be worth more money one day.
That's what I'm thinking. Dude, I saw people I think it might have been easy to tweet it out. Like autograph people are going to be so mad. I think they like it more because it's going to be more rare.
It's like unique.
His rookie number too.
Like if he ends up being an offensive player of the year or win an MVP one year, and then like 30 years down the line, you have a 26 signed card instead of a 0, and 0 was the one that they retire his number in. Like that's probably worth more than the 0.
Remember? Did you see? It's like anyone in a Michael Jordan 45 jersey. Remember that? You guys remember when he came back to the NBA and had like 45 for a little bit?
Oh,
if you saw someone with a 45 Michael Jordan jersey, you're like, how? Where? It's sometimes like when you don't have a jersey for a while, it's to your point, Boone. It is kind of interesting. I like it. I don't mind it. That Jordan jersey, I've never seen a 45 Jordan jersey, actually.
I don't think I have either.
That's or even probably
like, I guess, no, I've seen like a Wizards one before. Definitely seen
one. Yeah, I think that was with the Bulls. I don't know how many games he played in that jersey. I don't even think it was that much.
If I'm being honest, I think he played 1 game with it. I could be or maybe like less than 5.
Yeah.
It could be like, I don't know. I'm going to look it up.
Well, I saw you talked about it. Speaking ball knower, you were wearing the ball knower cap. You were going at some Lions fans today, or not going at, but trying to talk some people off the ledge with this Trey Hendrickson stuff. Is this talk resuming with him now going on McAfee and complaining? Rightfully so, though, but talking about how contract negotiations are going to shit. Is this like Lions fans coming out the woodworks again and being like, make Trey Hendrickson happen? What's going on?
Do you know where I first saw it? The Doc. The Doc did an article on it, and there was a network. I don't know if it was ESPN or someone did a trade request or a trade kind of mock-up of the Detroit Lions with Trey Hendrickson. And then obviously when you see all this, you start seeing people tweet, and it's like, why is this even like, why is this coming across our desk again? Like, are we serious? And then there's these people out there, oh my goodness, boys, like who truly think like Brad Holmes is dumb for not making a Trey Hendrickson trade and being like, Brad's like, he has no clue what he's doing. Like, if he just made this one trade, everything's over the edge. Like, and I'm sorry, like Mike Valenti too. Like I saw him today. He's like, like every single NFC championship winner the last 5 years made one big move. The Bucks got Tom Brady. The Rams got Matthew Stafford. Excuse me. It was so dumb. I'm coughing. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, AJ Brown.
Right.
And it's just like, we have our quarterback. So it's like, that's already voided. Like your whole argument there, void. And we have our star wide receiver. So we don't need to trade for an AJ Brown. You have your star running back. So you don't need to trade for a Jahmyr Gibbs. You have your star edge rusher. And like, I'm in a battle on Twitter with some people like trying to like legit tell me, hey, this makes sense. So what you guys are telling me is the Detroit Lions can afford to pay over $80 million over the next 5 or 6 years to 2 edge rushers. $80 million on the books a year. Are we really that blinded off of in the offseason? Like, we can't be that dumb. We really can't be. Like, it's just so simple. Like, it's the most unrealistic situation to say, hey, Trey Hendrickson wants a new deal. That's the only reason he would ask for a trade. And you're going to sit here and tell me that the Lions would be in on it. That's wrong. It's literally like all these people on Twitter that are saying it, you're just putting false information out there. I don't know. Is it for clicks? I don't know. But it's not realistic. Like, it will never happen. The only way it would have happened with Myles Garrett is when Myles Garrett came out and said, I don't care about money, I want to win. And the same thing with Trey Hendrickson, where at the beginning of the Trey Hendrickson situation, he only had a year left on his deal, and whatever the price was, to where you wouldn't have to give him a 4 or 5 year deal worth almost $40 million. So I was tired. I saw it all over Twitter this morning and last night. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, are we? And there's still people like pushing back on it. And you have to take a step back and be a little realistic. Like, yes, it would be awesome. Like, we all would love Trey Hendrickson. It's the most unreal. It's you sitting down at your desk and playing Madden. You're just a Madden. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, we posted a reel like weeks ago on our YouTube talking about Trey Hendrickson, and we feel the same exact way today. I mean, it hasn't changed for us. It doesn't make any sense just because of how much he values the money, because he's getting older, and rightfully so. He's coming off back-to-back 17-sack seasons. Of course he wants to be one of the highest-paid defensive ends. So it just doesn't make sense at all. Now, Myles Garrett, at the time, there was a narrative out there that he was okay with playing the last 2 years on his deal. Obviously, that proved to not be true because he signed a bag in Cleveland. But with us insinuating and hearing more and more about that, the idea of trading for Myles Garrett was actually intriguing. But now that he signed the contract, you're like, okay, he was never available. And then you look at Trey Hendrickson, there's no way. There's no way on earth it would make any sense to go and do that. Even though Trey Hendrickson and Aiden would be so good.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it later.
It would crush your franchise.
No, because the amount of money that Aiden's going to get, we'll get to it later. He might become the highest paid defensive end in the entire league. So how are you going to pay him and Trey Hendrickson? You're not.
Yeah, I'm Klotz. I mean, I hope you're not on the Trey Hendrickson thing. I think, I don't know. I do think like it's that easy to understand. Like, I don't think it's that difficult to understand. You can't pay 2 edge rushers $80+ million. It's impossible. It will literally ruin your franchise for the next 6 years, because now you have to move on from every single player that you drafted, essentially. And I tell these, like, and there's all these comments on Twitter. Like, I challenge people, like, if you could pull out a book and show me the finances and how it could get done, then I will sit down and listen. But until someone shows me how you can afford 2 of those guys at that level, at that price, then I'm not listening.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, because while you guys were talking, I was like, okay, let's think about the last time we would have seen a duo like this, where you have an emerging star, like a Hall of Fame type of talent, and a veteran like that is coming off good years, and he still has some juice left in the tank. And we've said it before, it's DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller back when they had Peyton Manning. I'm looking at these salaries right now. Peyton Manning, the year they won the Super Bowl, had a cap hit of $17 million. Demaryius Thomas, and this is in order. Peyton Manning, the highest was $17 million. Demaryius with $13. Ryan Clady, left tackle for $10. And Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware were getting paid $9 and $8. And I understand that the salary cap went up and it's going to be different, but percentage-wise, if you look at how much they were taking up, both of them were taking up 6%. And Aiden Hutchinson re-signed and Trey Hendrickson re-signed. To Booner's point, is going to be $80 million. That's going to be more than a combined 12%. So when you go look at these examples of dominant pass rush duos and you look at how these teams are constructed, like, they almost had these guys, and the people that they had, like, they were all on after, like, the Lions right now are previously past that time. Like, they still had a ton of rookies still on contract. We've already seen Panay, Amon-Ra, those guys get extended, and they're still to come. So the contract situation is just different. I still think I would love for them to go trade for like a veteran guy, but it doesn't, or sign a veteran guy, but not to Trey Hendrickson's level. And if you're going to trade for somebody, it'd be more realistic to go after a young guy if you're going to give up assets that you don't have to extend. And I don't think there's many options like that out there. So really, you're asking them to go out and get a veteran free agent and like a Zadarius Smith something to that matter. And the Lions still aren't doing that, so that's frustrating. But I don't think you can look at the Trey Hendrickson move and be like, this is frustrating. Because, again, I know all three of us were hyping it up, but then as time went on, you just realize that it's unrealistic. It's going to be the same conversation when Micah Parsons is going to be extended and these other premier pass rushers, but it's just not feasible for Detroit right now.
And Truth Teller in the chat, he's put a couple things in there too, real quick. First one, he said, Booner, your whatever, I don't even know what it says. It says false things, cap hits and salary hits are different than the things than the Lions could structure the deal so that it could limit the cap hits. You guys are just wrong. No, Truth Teller, guess what? It limits it. At some point, the bill is due and the cap gets hit. Like, you don't just get to like be like, hey, this will never hit our cap. At some point, let's say, what's 5 times 40, boys? Let's say if you do a 5-year deal at $40 million a year,
be like
200 million. 200.
You don't just get to say, hey, we're not going to pay, like, we're not going to take a cap hit of 50 of that million. We're going to, no, like, it has to get spread out. And how you spread it out, that's up to you and how you want to structure it, but you still have to pay it. And there's 8 other deals like that are going to happen on this Lions team where it's impossible. And then Truth Teller follows it up with this, which this is, and in shout out Truth Teller, he turns in all the time. But this shows me this is not watching football or doing your homework 101 right here out of Truth Teller. This is not doing your homework 101. Like, if people want to know, hey, let's comment and let's make comments about the boys here without doing our homework and just throw poop at the wall, as the kids say. Daniil Hunter, $35 million a year. Their second best edge rusher, Will Anderson, $8 million a year on a rookie contract.
Well, CJ Stroud still on a rookie deal.
Still on a rookie deal. But like, if we're just talking edge rushers, paying 2 elite edge rushers, what is that? I'm not great at math. $44 million. Oh, you're talking about Truth Teller. The Texans are doing it right now. They're paying half of what you guys want to pay with the Trey Hendrickson stuff. They're paying $44 million. You're talking about with Trey Hendrickson and Hutch, you're gonna have to be paying $80 a year on average. Now, however you spread it out, it's up to you. But this is wrong. It's wrong. Like, there's no teams in the NFL. Go look at every single edge rusher contract. You will not find me a team that's paying more than, I would say, $50 million for their top 2 edge rushers. It's just not happening. It's the most unrealistic thing. Now, if Trey Hendrickson said, hey, I'll take a pay cut.
Yeah.
Hey, I only want a 1 or 2 year deal, short term. Let's run it. Like, I want a Super Bowl.
Yeah, like 20, 25 mil.
That's a whole different conversation. But if you're talking about this guy goes on the Pat McAfee show and said, my biggest problem is I want a long-term deal. He literally said, I want to be able to sit down with the contract and look at my wife and say, this is where we're going to raise our family the next 5 years. Word for word. It's over. Like, the people out there on Twitter that are like pushing for it and saying, oh, Brad would never do it. He would never want to go after a guy like that because he's cheap. That's just unrealistic. You're biased. You don't want to admit you're wrong. That's
I mean, even the comment, first of all, it's the guarantees that matter. I mean, Myles Garrett got 164 for 160, but 123.5 million of that is guaranteed. How much do you think Trey's going to want? 123
probably very
million.
similar. Oh,
yeah.
Jeff,
I mean,
you know what's crazy? He said
obviously Myles Garrett is going to probably be one of the highest guaranteed, but he's not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm cool. At his age, you don't think he wants as much guaranteed money as he can get? Of course he
literally said on the McAfee show, he said one of the biggest problems with the contract that's been going on over the last few years is he said there are things I'm not willing to budge on. And he said
guaranteed money.
One of those things is I'm not playing off an incentives deal and I want to make sure money is there. So he basically said straight up, I want guaranteed money. And that's something that the Bengals probably aren't willing to do. And here, I'll do this. Jason Bowers, he's 31. He's not getting a 5-year deal. Wrong. He'll probably, minimum. 4 years. That's still a long-term deal. Like,
yeah, I don't think he'll get a 5, but someone will give him a 3 at the least 4. He's going to want a longer-term deal. And someone will give that to him. Like, I saw ETN, but yeah, I would. I mean, for a player like him, I wouldn't be shocked. Ball and light. I mean, he says teams like Washington are in a position to get Henderson. I think that's the best team to get him because they have Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal. Lions don't have that, man. You don't have that type of flexibility to be paying even 1 but 2 guys at that number. And trust me, we're edge guys. We want edges, but it's just not realistic. I can't even make the argument for it. I mean, especially with the players that need to be paid. I mean, you brought it up, Klotz, the amount of guys they had on rookie deals. all of them about to get paid. It's bad time right now. They were all in the start of the rookie deals, and Goff was still on his other contract. Maybe you can go, maybe you can make some sense of it, but right now, no. With Kirby, all these guys that have to get paid. Trey Hendrickson, I don't know where he fits in at this point. I don't.
I tell people, listen, if your problem is the edge room, that is where my argument is. Like I'm with you.
Everyone
like
can see
edge,
that.
and this is what I've been saying on Twitter all day. But don't come at like if we're gonna have a legit conversation about this. Don't bring me Trey Hendrickson. Don't act like Trey Hendrickson's the one that's going to happen, and you're going to be mad if Brad doesn't get that done. Let's have a conversation about why isn't Zadarius Smith alive? Why is Matthew Judon still a free agent, and he can bring up some production for you? Like, those are the conversations I'm willing to have. I'm not willing to have a Trey Hendricks conversation. It's when I saw it today, I'm like, this is a waste of our time at this point. Like, and I think majority of Lions fans, and not even just Lions fans, like NFL fans who understand how money works in the NFL and how rosters and construction works, you know that there's probably only a handful of teams out there right now in the NFL that could say, yep, give us Trey Hendrickson. That's just what it is.
Yeah. And it's not
Shout
even
out
about
too, by the way.
It's not even, I mean, I respect people going and saying, bring me a great edge. I understand it, but the Trey one, I can't get with. It's not even tell me why. I know the why. Tell me how. How the hell how does it get done? I need the how, not the why. Because I know the why. It makes perfect sense. Him and Aiden, Oh my gosh. I know why. But the how, I don't know. I can't get on that one. And Justin Rogers, he wrote a whole article breaking down how the Lions, and I'll just admit, I'm not subscribed to Detroit Football Network, so I can't read the full article. But he did. I read what I could read, and Justin Rogers did a really good job of breaking down kind of what's to come and why Aiden could get north of 40 even. I mean, at this point, because he mentioned in his article, and this is crazy. The average, so the bar right now for edges, especially for Aiden's level, is about 40 million. Like, imagine Micah's about to get paid, right? He's got one of the best agents, even though Jerry Jones doesn't know his name, which is a whole nother thing. One of the best agents in the league. He's going to get a lot of money. Micah's a very good player. He's going to get probably 40. You know how much the average of those elite edges, you know how much the percentage went up? It went up 17.6%, the average salary for those types of edges. Because you had Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, you had Micah, 17.6% since the offseason started. Nick Bosa, remember he was 30 and everyone was like, wow, now we're at 40.
Yeah.
So imagine this. Now, ideally, you want to get this Aiden contract done earlier than later, but what kind of incentive does that provide to Aiden? Like, if I'm Aiden, I'm like, no, let me play. I'm going to go out and ball out. And then we'll discuss it, But ideally, you want to get it done earlier. And maybe like Brad did with Panay and Amon-Ra, you can get it done like a little. I mean, they were both on Panay. It was 5 years because he was a first-round pick. So you got that done decently early. But for Aiden, I wonder if you can even make that happen. Because if you wait, the reality is, boys, dude's going to make 40-ish million.
Probably 40, yeah.
I mean,
if he got re-signed right now, he'd already be the highest paid of all time. But again, you wait till after the season, it's going to be an even more dramatic amount. If Aiden Hutchinson goes out and wins Defensive Player of the Year, I wouldn't be, honestly, like, I would not be shocked. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if he gets paid somewhere closer to like 45, again, it doesn't have to be. It'd be north of 40. I wouldn't be shocked.
I'll say this with Brad too. I would be very disappointed, and genuinely, I would be very upset and disappointed if Aiden Hutchinson doesn't have an extension in the next month. I truly believe that there is no reason that Hutch shouldn't be extended. Like to me, and this is what kind of shocks me a little bit is Brad has been extremely good with getting ahead of the market. This offseason, I think, like last year, he was basically the first GM to extend a wide receiver. And then after he did it, everyone else kind of fell into place. He was the first GM to extend a quarterback. Then everyone else kind of fell into place. This year, Max Crosby extended, Myles Garrett extended. Like, I feel like, and maybe Hutch noticed that and his agent noticed that and said, let's be patient here. Like, let's not push this thing to the edge. We can see where everyone else falls. But like, if I was Brad, like, I would be banging the table to get this deal done like this week. Because you want to get this deal done. Like, Micah Parsons already has an offer on the table. If I'm Brad and I hear that, I'm sitting there going, we need to get a deal done before Micah, and we need to get a deal done before Trey, because if they hit 40, like say Micah hits like 42, 43, and this is where you're going to have to offer in that ballpark there. I do think there's a world where Brad and Hutch can sit down and they could say, hey, like these guys that are signing, they have been in the league a lot longer and they have a little bit more proven. Like you have this 1 year and then you got hurt. We can do 40, but we're not going to make you the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Like I do think there's a world where Brad can sit down and have that conversation with his agent. I really do. Because you like Micah, he's already has the resume for all those years. Same with Myles Garrett and Max Crosby, and Trey Hendrickson has back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons. So I think there's a world where Brad can negotiate a little bit. I say just get the deal done though. Like it should have been done yesterday.
The thing that I want to see is, I mean, with Aiden, you're paying obviously on projection. I know he's coming off an injury. I saw someone put in there. I want to bring up the comment. Full Slate Farms. What if Hutch only gets 7 sacks next year coming off that injury? Well, that's a whole nother problem. That's a whole nother problem because now we're concerned about that. But I don't think that happens. I think he returns back to form. But he's not like an Amon-Ra, and I love Amon-Ra. He's one of my favorite Lions. But the reality is Amon-Ra isn't Justin Jefferson. He's not Jamar Chase. You can make an argument, Aiden.
Yeah. He's top 5 at his position.
He might, besides Myles Garrett, he's
number 1.
Yeah, he's in that. I mean, he's not like a top 5. Oh, he's on that. No, dude. Last year he was on pace to be the best defensive end in the league, statistically wise. So I don't know how that works with Aiden. I know he's coming off an injury, but like, dude, if he goes out this year and puts up, which I think like 14, 15 sacks, I mean, that man, rightfully so, is going to want that bag, a big bag. Which he deserves it. By the way, that is a guy that you don't even ask questions. You just pay him. Like
I agree. I'm just interested in the number. Like I wonder if, and the market shows that a guy like Hutch who hasn't like cracked 15 sacks in a season can get that number. I think curious. 40, but I just don't know if he can go over 40. Like I don't know. I could be so wrong on that. I'm not going to put my foot down on that, but it's one of those things where I'm going to be keeping an eye out because I'm interested to see how they can adjust that number to compare. Like really, those other edge rushers have been in the league 6 years, each of them minimum.
Maybe you pay him mid-season. Maybe like he looks good to start, and you're like, and Brad's like, okay, he's good.
Yeah,
and then you just give him like a mid-season type of thing. He gets done.
If not, though, get Kirby re-signed. Like get one Kirby of those guys because it was close to draft time last year, so maybe the market was a little bit more active because of the T. Higgins situation for wide receivers this year, and then defensive ends like Max Crosby was threatening to get traded, so they had to deal with that. Same thing with Myles Garrett. There wasn't so much of that last offseason, so maybe the context is different, yes, but at the end of the day, like. You're still staring at a shit ton of cap space. I feel like it'd be better to sign these guys now so you know through the rest of the offseason, like, hey, we have actually this much to spend. This is what we know. And I'm sure they have that formula down. But again, like, what if Hutch is like, you know what, we're going to wait a little bit. Kirby talks to Lewis Bing, and they're like, hey, we're going to wait a little bit. If you can just get those things cemented pre-draft, it makes, I feel like, the offseason so much more clear for what your approach wants to be.
Last year, they all got done pre-draft.
Redrafted Jared.
Could happen again. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think
and
Kirby
all
will
three
get
of them
around that time. If not,
I think both could lock in.
Because Kirby, I'll tell you this, man. Kirby's going to reset the market. He's worth it for a safety. Yeah, he's going to reset the market. He's coming off the season. He's coming off of All Pro. You don't find guys like that. They don't grow on trees to get you how many interceptions? What do you have? 8, 9 last year? Yeah,
9. Yeah, after coming off 4 and 4.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Historic numbers.
I'm excited for this.
What?
Detroit Lions stock market.
Yeah.
Remember, I talked about it. I talked about it with you guys in the chat. Knows we played it. We did it already once before. I think it was last year, where we go through. I'm going to give you players, and you tell me their stocks. Okay, you're buying means you're buying more of this player's stock. You think he's only going to improve and skyrocket. Whatever that means. Doesn't have to mean like all pro. Or hold means, I'm going to wait on this one. Or you're selling means you're out. You're done. Yeah, I'm done with this player. I have 11 guys. Okay. They're all good ones too. So, and then there's a twist at the end. So there's a little twist, but I have 11.
Oh.
I have 11. I went through it and I was like, okay. Okay. I was like, these are all tough. There's no gimmies on this one. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Okay. 11 guys. So let's begin. Detroit Lions stock market. We're starting now. All right, let's go.
Can I ask one thing before we start? Are we basing this on production?
Well, you're basing it on just what you think of the player.
What else? Yeah. Yeah.
Like what? For example, I give you a player and you think, okay, that guy's going to have a better year this year. You buy some.
Okay.
If you're not sure, and you're like, you hold it. But if he does improve, you lose out.
Based off his year last year. Based off his season last year.
All right. The first player I have in mind. This will be a good one. I'm gonna start on defense. I'm gonna go defense, then offense.
All right. Give us a play. Let's hear it.
First defensive player I have for the Detroit Lions stock market is Alex Anzalone. Are you buying? Are you selling? Or are you holding the Anzalone stock?
Boone, you want to start or do you want me to?
No, I'll go. I know a lot of people. This is a big one right away. Jeff had to throw this one out there right away. I'm doing this. I'm looking at it as this. Like, he was hurt last year. I think personally, I thought there were games where he struggled a little bit. Maybe that's just me. And that was like started very, very good and then kind of went down a little and then got hurt and then came back and was good. I would buy Alex Anzalone stock. I think after last season wasn't one of his best seasons that he's had. And I think going into 2025, healthy Alex Anzalone, full season, another year to get better, another offseason, guys in front of him no longer injured, defense is back healthy. I think Anzo's a guy that's going to have a better year than he did last year. I think he's going to end up having one of the better years of his career this season. Shocking to you guys, huh?
Booner. Very well said, Booner. There's no reason to sell Alex Anzalone stock. He's literally gotten better every year. He's been in Detroit. And like Booner said, injury there, no Aiden Hutchinson, no Lee McNeil. There's no reason to doubt Alex Anzalone. Jack Campbell can still be very, very good. Same thing with Alex Anzalone and vice versa. So Anzo with Kelvin Shepard as the DC, who knows Anzo better than anybody as far as a coach goes. Go ahead. Give me Alex Anzalone. I'm buying.
So even though we went at it, Boone, about who was the better linebacker last year, and we disagree, Anzalone versus Jack Campbell, I do believe in Jack to take that jump this year. So I'm going to hold on Anzo. I'm not going to buy anymore. I'm just going to hold with Anzo just because I think Anzo, obviously he's a really good player, but I think Jack this year, you're going to start seeing more games where they're both on the field. Obviously Enzo being healthy, where you start to see that turn, you start to see more and more of like, okay, Jack's the better linebacker at his age. So I'm going to hold for Enzo. I don't think he declines or anything. That's why I'm not selling it, but I'm going to hold for him. Yeah, I could be missing out. Who knows? Watch him have a career year. Next defensive player.
That'd be funny.
Next defense.
Are we going defense, offense, offense, back and forth?
Well, you want to rotate, or I'm going defense first?
Back and forth.
All right, I'll do offense then. This one will be good. Graham Glasgow.
Oh, I hate to have to do this.
Buying, selling, or holding?
I hate this. I love Graham. Graham's such a good, Michigan man. This is a tough one.
Maybe he plays right guard, Boone. Maybe he's a little better.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to do this to him. I'm going to say I'm going to sell. I can't listen. I hate this because I like Graham. I think he's at that point of his career, like last year. I think like an old Graham, like a Graham 2 years ago, even if he was at right or left, I think he would have been good. And then this last year, you could see, like you could tell, like there were moments where you're like, oh no, like this isn't the real Graham Glasgow. He's not all there. And I don't know if it's because he's getting older or what's going on, but if you have to talk about, in my opinion, this is where I stand with that. I think you boys agree. If you have to have conversations about a player's replacement in the offseason, I think it's time. That's the point to where it's like, hey, I'm going to sell the stock. Like, I don't know how much farther it's going to go up. Maybe I get a little bit if I hold on to it. But I'm better off just kind of getting out right now.
Very well said again, Booner. I think especially when Dan talked about him the other day, he talked the more importance of him having that versatility of being able to play guard and center. And when they draft Tyler Booker in the first round, which is about to happen, Yeah, it's going to be Booker and Mahogany, or another rookie in Mahogany as the starting guards. I think first-round picks can be used at that guard spot, and that is because of Graham Glasgow. Like, he's going to be a great sixth man. That's the original point of why they brought him to Detroit, and he's going back into his role. He looked good as a starter for a little bit, but there was a reason why Detroit moved off him in the first place with Bob Quinn and all them, and Denver was willing to let him walk, and now you're seeing that come to light, especially when you're on the best offensive line in football. You got to find ways to improve, and that's through the draft and Christian Mahogany.
Yeah, this one's tough. This one was tough because I really want to believe that he'll bounce back. So I wanted to buy because he's low. It's really low right now, boys. This stock is low.
It's penny stock.
This is a stock where you buy low and
you could make good on it. I'm gonna sell. I may regret that, but I'm gonna sell just because the narrative right now with the draft and drafting more offensive linemen and Mahogany. I just don't even know what the future looks like for him. And it's very tough for me to say that. So I'm gonna say so on Graham.
And real quick too with the Graham thing, and I've said this for since he started struggling at left guard, and then when we saw Christian come in, the biggest thing with Graham is his versatility. Like Dan said it the other day, like him being able to step in and play center if someone goes down, whether you draft a Tyler Booker or replace, however that goes down, you have a guy with Graham. Like it is inevitable that someone on your offensive line is going to get hurt. You have a guy in Graham Glasgow who can step in and play any position, essentially. Like, you could trust him, right? Like, any guard position, center, he can step in if something happens to Frank, and he can hold his own. So I think that's where the value is for him. Now, if we're like, to me, we're buying or selling based off of starting left guard.
Yeah.
I'm selling at starting left guard. I'm out on it.
It's fair. Okay, we're going defense. The young buck, the corner. Ennis Rakestraw.
Oh,
you buying, holding, or selling?
This is the biggest buy. I'm buying all the Ennis Rakestraw stock. I am. I think Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell said it best, boys. A lot of secondary players, especially corners, takes big steps. You get to know if they're legit or not from year 1 to year 2. I think a guy like Ennis Rakestraw comes into camp ready to go on a different level where you're like, that's a legit NFL corner. He can play. That kid can play ball. Now, again, caveat of it all, boys, and I think you all are going to agree with me. Bottom line, can he stay healthy? We talked about it yesterday. But I think he could be a hell of a corner in the league. I just think it's health. And if he could somehow over the next couple of years kind of get into that nickel spot potentially that we've talked about, you should buy all the stock right now. If he's your starting nickel in a couple of years, you should buy all the stock with Ennis Rakestraw. It's low right now. You can this is a stock you can make a lot. This is Bitcoin 10 years ago.
Bitcoin.
Bye. Yeah, I've preached enough about why I'm really excited to watch Ennis Rakestraw this season. I don't think he's going to be in that starting 3 with Terrion, Amik, or DJ Reed, but he's definitely going to rotate in there. And then if there's an injury, I'm really excited to see what he can bring. At the end of the day, the stock is as low as it's ever going to get. It's probably lower than when he was originally drafted because he got hurt. So give me the buy on Ennis Rakestraw Jr.
Yeah, it's like a Graham situation. His stock's really low, but he's young. He still has some upside. I like Ennis, so I'm going to buy it. I'm with you guys. We haven't really seen. He's just staying healthy, really, for him. And I think he's going to be able to compete at nickel. And if someone goes down, he can be able to jump in there right away and contribute. So I'm going to buy the Ennis Rakestraw stock because I think he only gets better from here. We're staying on defense. This is a defensive lineman. He's been battling. Josh Paschal.
Oh, man.
Buy, sell, or hold? Josh Paschal.
It's going to be my first one. First hold of the day. I don't know. I can't get I think Josh Paschal last year in moments was very good. Like, I think in the run game, we got to see how good he was in the run game. Rushing the passer, probably could take a step forward. I think a lot of guys, like with him and Levi, I think it just has to do with maybe playing a little bit more out of position than you would want. So I think it comes down to that. But I think you just hold on Josh. I think that's the smartest way to go about it. Hey, my expectations aren't up here for him, and they're not down here. My expectations for that guy, they're right here going into 2025.
I'm buying, fellas. You want to know why I'm buying? For one reason and one reason only. Contract year. The man is going to give everything that he has left in the tank. We see no matter how good a player is or isn't. We've seen it out of Detroit's own. Marcus Davenport have his best year. What was it? a contract year. So Josh Pascal knows that he's not exactly locked into Detroit long term, so he's got to track some other teams. And with Aiden Hutchinson back, this defensive line hopefully being better, Josh Pascal might not be on the field as much, but when he is, he's fighting for his NFL life. So give me a slight buy. I'm not putting all the stakes in there, but you know what? I'll throw a unit or two on the Josh Pascal stock. Not much, but I think he does have a better year strictly because it's his last one in Detroit if he doesn't perform well.
Yeah, this one I was a big Josh Pascal defender, so this is tough. You know, I was big on him last year, and he was a little disappointing. I think I bought Josh Pascal stock last year when we did this, so I lost money on that stock. So I'm going to sell, and this is tough for me to say this. I'm going to sell. And even Klotz, you did make some great points. I didn't even think of the contract year argument. That's a good one. But I'm still going to sell because I need to make some of my money back, even though I lost a lot of it. So I'm going to go ahead and sell Josh Pascal. Hurts me to say it. But.
And last year, Levi O had a contract year, and he had everything in front of him. Everything in front of him. He had guys got hurt, and he had every snap in the world. Ended up only getting a $2 million contract out of it. Yeah. So I'm not going to expect the world out of Josh.
But did Levi's stock rise last year?
A little bit, but I think it was just like, I think we got to a certain point in the year where it was just here. Like you were like, what's going on with Levi? He wasn't like wowing people. That's what I think with Josh. Like I think he's here. Like we know what we're getting out of him. And I think it stays the same way this year.
Well, Coach Rock says you did, Jeff. But you were thinking long term. You see, Coach, thank you for trying to have my back here, but I think I'm just an idiot, if I'm being honest. But we'll move on, even though Coach is kind of right. Next player on offense. Taylor Decker. Buy, sell, hold. Taylor Decker.
I'm selling. I think when his contract's done, I think it's time to get a new left tackle. Move Penei over, get another tackle in the building. I'm not gonna say like let's sell this year and move on from him right away, but I just think like look at his contract and what he's given you. I'm gonna sit there and I'm just gonna say I'm selling it. Give us the last couple of years and I'm happy with what I got out of that stock.
Sell. We've seen the writing on the wall for like 2 or 3 years now, okay? Taylor Decker used to be one of those top 10 offensive tackles, and he's not terrible, but we have seen Taylor Decker just slowly decline. And I'm fearful, not that this year, but if the Lions keep pushing him to be the left tackle, there's going to be a year where we drastically see the decline of Taylor Decker. That's why this year, in the second, third round, if Ariante Ursi is there somehow in that second round, which I doubt that he is, but you go and get Taylor Decker's replacement now, so that way they can have a year to develop. You're not paying an arm and a leg in free agency, and you can have year 2 of an offensive tackle that you draft early on in this draft, which is a good offensive lineman draft, and you're able to move on. Make this offensive line cheaper, make it a little bit more flexible and more durable than Taylor Decker right now. You're paying him $20 million. There's no way by the end of this year that he's going to be worth that, and you're going to be comfortable going into 2026 protecting Jared Goff's blind side. So, yeah, I'm selling Taylor Decker's stock if I haven't made that clear enough already.
This is a big one for you, Jeff, because this is a big one for you.
Why? Because of the
no gut.
6'8", 350. No,
possibly moving to guard.
Giovanni Manu. He can play anywhere, Klotz. You watch your mouth. All right, okay. He can play anywhere. He can play
in British Columbia.
I'm gonna sell. I mean, this hurts to say. I love Taylor Decker. Honestly, he's one of the chillest human beings ever. But as a guy, can't say anything bad about him. But as a player, injuries concern me. That's really the main thing. Injuries, and at his age, I don't see him getting healthier. So that's my concern. And the fact that they could draft a tackle, another one, I don't know. So I'm going to go sell on Taylor Decker. Next player. Defense. Derek Barnes. Buy, sell, hold. Klotzy, take it away.
I'm going to buy it.
Thank you, Klotz. There we go. Thank you, Klotz.
It's not high. It's not high whatsoever. He's coming off a major injury. and why I might not be the most supportive of the Derek Barnes signing, because I think at the end of the day, they needed to upgrade. Derek Barnes is not a bum. He's going to be in a good front seven, a good linebacking room, and he did show some solid flashes last year before the injury. So I think Derek Barnes goes out there, has a good year, consistent year, as long as he stays healthy, and you haven't been able to say that about Derek Barnes this year. So while I might have not supported wholeheartedly the re-signing of Derek Barnes, I do think I would buy Derek Barnes stock at this moment.
You have to buy Derek Barnes stock. How old is he, Jeff? 25?
Like 25, yep.
I mean, he's young. He's going to be your starting Sam for the next few years with Anzo and Jack. Obviously, you're not going to get a million snaps out of him, but listen, I had someone comment today on my Twitter and be like, Derek Barnes getting paid, what, top 10 money, blah, 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 as a linebacker. Actually, when the deal was done, he is outside the top 20, boom, just like that, of highest paid linebackers in the NFL. So I think the price you got him at, boom, it's good. I'm excited, honestly. Coming off that injury, I'm excited to see what he gives you at that Sam position this year. We got to see it for 2 games, and he played it very well in those 2 games. So I'm excited to see like a full season out of Derek Barnes in that position. Like we have not had a legit Sam, like a Sam in Detroit here in how long, boys? Like Jack did it his rookie year, but again, he was a rookie, so there were still some mistakes. Like a legit vet like Derek Barnes playing that position, I'm pumped up for it. I think if you bought his stock now, you're about to make some money over the next 2 or 3 years.
Little birdie told me that I heard today on ESPN that Jahad Campbell's falling, though. I'd be happy with that.
Oh, but here's the thing, all right? If you remember, Derek Barnes actually looked really good before he got hurt. So this year, we didn't really get a chance to see. It wasn't fair to him, with the injury. It stinks. But he was on a good trajectory. So I'm basing my investment off of that. I'm going to go buy on Derek Barnes. I think he continues to kind of show why he's a part of the, maybe he's not on Penei Sewell or Ahmed Ra's level when you talk about foundational players, but he is a part of the core on defense. And I'm excited to see what he turns into. So I'm going to buy some of that Derek Barnes stock. Next player.
Oh, wait. Where did that go?
What?
Hold on. Hold on.
What?
This chat's moving fast.
The ball nowhere. Oh, Barnes Nowoski. It's all that for Trevor Nowoski. I mean, this is Saginaw, Michigan's finest.
Go Cards.
Next player, Jared Goff. Buy, sell, or hold? New coordinator.
I love this question. Because you know what? And we're going to see it in the chat. I think a lot of people are going to either say hold or sell.
What are you doing, Boone?
Give me my Jared Goff. Give me my Jared Goff stock. Give me the Jared Goff stock. I think right now, if you look at the last 2 years, after what just happened in the playoffs, the 4 turnovers, I think the stock is down here right now. I think all the stories I see in every conversation around national media here in Detroit, it's literally, by the way, Zach's ball nowhere, testicle nowhere is so funny to me.
I didn't get it at first.
That's so funny. I literally think, though, boys, like the conversation with Jared Goff, everything is, can he get over that hump? Can he get over that hump? He's not good enough in the big games. He'll never win a Super Bowl. That's the perfect time to buy the stock of a quarterback in the NFL, especially a guy who's been to an NFC championship game, who's been to a Super Bowl, and has everything around him. Whether you want to say, the coordinators, all that. But I just think right now, especially after that playoff loss, everyone right now is down on Jared Goff. Everybody. And if you can get that stock right now, next year, when they're in the NFC championship game or the Super Bowl, you just invested so much money and you just made a lot. You're in the green now, boys. You really are.
I'm selling. I think Jared Goff just came off the best season of his career, and he's not even going to be bad next year. But I don't think we see the Jared Goff that we saw last year coming into this season with all the stats and the touchdowns and the possible MVP candidate that he was. We went into the Houston Texans game saying that if Jared Goff goes out there and balls, he's going to be the front runner for MVP. I had the same talk about the Buffalo Bills game. And I understand that he shit the bed in the playoffs, but the man's been to a Super Bowl before with the Los Angeles Rams. So I think right now is peak Jared Goff stock. It's not like if you're selling it that you think he's going to be ass, but he was probably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL last year. Next year, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback, But I think for most of the season last year, Jared Goff was regarded as one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think there will be moments of that next year, but the consistency will not be the same as this year. So I think Jared Goff going to be very good next year, but I think he just came off like a career season for himself. So I don't think he's going to be able to double down and outdo that with no Ben Johnson. So I'm going to go sell with Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think people are probably going to look at this question as like the playoff game where he had multiple picks, but it's really about the season, and he was an MVP candidate. So I'm going to hold. I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to buy. I think I'm just more skeptical with a new coordinator, not that he falls off a cliff. That's why I'm not selling. Not that you're saying that, Klotzy, but I think you make more money if he does. If you're selling all that, if you're selling it, stock will drop. But I'm not going to buy because I need to see how this Johnny Morton thing plays out. So I'm going to hold right now for Goff. That's where I'm at, but it's a good one. Next player on offense, David Montgomery. Buy, sell, or hold?
I think this is hopefully it's across the board a similar one. I would just say hold. Like I think D-Mont, and I mean I guess if you want to say sell just based off of Jahmyr Gibbs kind of taking a step forward, I just think D-Mont's going to be D-Mont over the next couple of years, like what he was the last 2 years to what he is this year and next year. And I've been pretty vocal on it. Whether you think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get that many more snaps, I still think they have the I still think they have the mindset going into this year. Like we want to make sure both of these guys are healthy. The snap, the kind of snap count is going to be similar to what it was last year, just based off of that, so they can keep those guys healthy for a full season, 17 games into the playoffs. So I'm going to say hold. Like if anything, he has the same year he did this last year, same amount of touchdowns. I don't see him going, getting more, because obviously the emergence of Jahmyr Gibbs, but I don't see him taking like a massive step back. I really don't. I think he's been really good too the last 2 years. Like he's been a top 15 running back with another running back in front of him. Like that's one of the more impressive things to see. So hold.
I'm going to be buying D-Mont stock, boys. I think I said D-Mont snot. D-Mont stock, because I think when you look at it, he missed more games than he has in the Detroit Lions last year, and he was off to a hell of a start, and he came back in the playoff game, played dinged up, but the fact that he played in the playoff game tells me that he's going to be 100% healthy. And I think David Montgomery, when you look at the player and the person that he is, he's going to have something to prove. He wants to prove that he can stay healthy, and he can prove that he's still the same running back. So I think right now, after last season, the stock didn't go up and down. It pretty much stayed the same because of the injuries, the bad playoff game. But I think David Montgomery comes out, might not get the carries that he had last year, but I think that's why I asked about production at the beginning of the show. But I think David Montgomery comes out and he looks very good. You saw how they used him more out of the backfield last year. I think they stick to that approach, and that still gets him touches, one-on-one plays in the open field with defensive backs and smaller linebackers. So I think D-Mont's going to be D-Mont. But if he's able to stay healthy, which is a big question, which is what I'm taking the risk on, I'm buying that stock. And if they get in the playoffs, D-Mont's going to have a better playoff run. So, again, I'm buying.
Klotzy, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
You think Jahmyr Gibbs in production improves, right?
Yeah. That's why I asked about production at the beginning. Like, I don't think D-Mont's production is going to go drastically up. But I think David Montgomery, again, he lost some weight last year.
It'll be about the same.
Too much weight. He's going to come
up.
He's going to be, because I think he's going to look better than he did last year. He got hurt halfway through the season and came off in the playoff game and took a shit for the team. Like, I don't think we're going to see that David Montgomery. I think we're going to see D-Mont. Jahmyr's going to get the ball a little bit more. He's going to stay healthier. And by default, you're going to see better David Montgomery. You just said you don't expect David Montgomery to take
played
a
in
step
14
back.
games. He didn't get hurt halfway through the year. He played in 14
What I'm
games.
saying is, okay, at the important stretch of the season, when you really need him, Jahmyr went over and took over that backfield. So people are going to be buying Jahmyr stock. And naturally, David Montgomery stock is going to drop a little bit. So I don't think that David Montgomery is going to be the banged up running back that we saw. Kind of the same argument you were saying with Goff, Boone, except David Montgomery's not coming off a career year. David Montgomery's coming off a very, very good year, but it's not David Montgomery's best year. He was on track for that, but then it fell off. And then when you saw him again, he didn't look the same. So I'm buying David Montgomery stock.
Boone, you got something? You want?
I don't want to do this now. I just would like to have a good night of talking.
Well,
about
it'd be a good.
It's just so
discussion,
inconsistent, but it's fine.
Well, you say that a lot. So what am I being inconsistent about here?
I mean, it's just like you talk about all the time. Like he's going to get less carries. Like all I hear out of you is David Montgomery's going to take a hit on his carries and touches, but you're going to buy his stock because he's going to have a better year. Like
did I not clear that up?
But you said
production at the beginning.
like he played 14 games. Like
okay.
That's a lot of games for a running back. Like you're not saying like your comment to buy was he missed half of the year last year.
You're right. I was being extreme with that.
So like he played in 14 games, and then you're like, well, when he came back, he didn't look good. Like, yeah, he was still hurt. He rushed back, shouldn't have came back, and he had to probably get some type of rehab or surgery after the season. Like D-Mont's going to be what he was last year. He was very, very good in those 14 games. Like to me, you're downgrading a little bit what D-Mont actually did in those 14 games, where if he plays all 17, there's an argument to be said that he rushes for over 1,000, just like Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's on track, and he just misses 3 games, which isn't that crazy for a running back. And it's like, that was probably one of his, I think, I mean, I'm going to go look at his stats real quick, but I know he's rushed for 1,000, but like, I think what he did last year, because out of the backfield over 340 yards, he had 12 touchdowns still. Like, that felt like one of his best years ever to go with the year before as well. And he played in 14 games the year before. So it's like, you know what he's going to be on this Lions team. He's going to get you 800 or 900 yards if he stays healthy. He's going to get you 10 plus touchdowns, and he's going to get you about 200 or 300 receiving yards. Like, he's not going to go over that. He's not going to, like, to me, when you buy a guy like this, he's going to be RB1 on a team, and he's going to get majority of the carries, and he's going to go out there and rush for 1,100 yards. Like, no, like that's where it's like consistent with you. It's like you've been saying this. You've been saying D-Mont's going to take a step back because Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get more majority of the carries. You've been saying this for 6 months. Like, if you're going to have that, roll with it, dude. But don't like on this be like all of a sudden you're just going to buy it.
Okay,
are you buying because people are like saying buy? Like, what are we doing?
When I ask at the beginning of the show, are we doing this on production? And we said no. You're basing it off last year. So what I'm saying off of David Montgomery's stock at the beginning of the season was very high. Towards the end of the season, you cannot tell me that it did not dip. So naturally, if we think that David Montgomery, production aside, is going to be the same running back that he was last year, and Jahmyr Gibbs is getting more carries, which is going to be it's not going to be dramatic. That's going to make David Montgomery big chance that he's healthier. So you're going to see the same efficiency of David Montgomery and a healthy David Montgomery. So I'm going to buy that. It's not dramatic, but I'm going to buy it. I don't think that's inconsistent at all. Just because his size is diminishing as far as the share in the backfield, okay, that's why I asked about production. But if you're talking about when David Montgomery's on the field, I think that you're going to see better than what we saw at the end of the season with David Montgomery. It's the same exact argument you're using with Jared Goff.
I think it's like production's not everything, but you have to at least factor in a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, if you're buying a player stock, you think he'll have, like Jared Goff. I don't like you based argument for Jared. Like, he's coming off an MVP type of year. Like, that's fair. You know what I mean? Because you don't think he's going to have another MVP year. But if I told you buy because the numbers won't quite be the same, but he'll still look like Goff, if that makes, like, would you be like, that's a little.
If you say like he's gonna be like, you look at him and when you're watching him, it's the same Jared Goff, I'm not gonna hate it. But my argument with Goff is I don't think we're gonna see the same Jared Goff that we did last year. That doesn't mean he's gonna be bad, but that was the best year, in my opinion, we've ever seen out of Jared Goff as a quarterback, going 18 for 18 on Monday Night Football games. The efficient level that he was operating without a true defense, I think that was pretty special what he did last year, and I don't think that's just easy to replicate, especially with no Ben Johnson.
So, and that's fair. For D-Mount, I'm gonna go sell because the thing I'm struggling with D-Mount and selling is not that, again, I don't think he's gonna fall off a cliff as a player, but I just think Jahmyr's stock is so high right now. It's hard for me to like. I guess I could say hold, but I think Jahmyr, you're gonna start to see the passing of the torch, but it's not gonna be where D-Mount gets nothing. I just think Jahmyr is going to get the lion's share of the carries, no pun intended. So I'm gonna say sell for D-Mont. But I know it sounds bad, but I just think Jahmyr's stock. If Jahmyr's not on here, but I'd be buying. Like you were saying, Klotzy, I'm gonna buy Jahmyr's stock, and I'm gonna sell my D-Mont stock right now. I know it's low, but I'm putting it into Jahmyr. Next question, our next player on offense, Hendon Hooker.
Sell. I don't even know if we need to go around the room with this. Everyone should sell.
I'm afraid he might be holding.
I can get it pretty cheap.
I sold like a year ago.
I can get it pretty cheap. You know what I'm gonna do with my Hendon Hooker stock? I'm gonna hold it.
Out of respect.
I'm gonna hold it. Because I'm not selling. You're not making me sell. I'm gonna go down with the ship. I'm going down with the ship. I'm holding. Because hey, one day could pop up a little bit. Maybe next year in preseason starts slinging that rock a little bit, and you're like, hold on, he could maybe another team wants to trade for him, and then that stock goes up. So I'm gonna hold that stock. I'm consistent.
All right, move on to the next one. You had your moment to hold Hendon Hooker.
All right.
I mean, you could. That's great. That's like an out of respect. Like, this is my guy. Like, I'm just holding it out of respect.
Yeah, I'm going down with this.
Fair.
All right, coaches. Two
Oh,
coaches.
wow.
The new OC, Johnny Morton. Buying, selling, or holding.
God.
Well, actually, coaches you can't hold. That's the rule because
All
there's
right.
no evidence to base on a hold. So buy or sell, John Morton.
I'm buying. I'm buying the John Morton stock. The only reason you would sell it is if you think that he's fired by halfway through the year. But to me, it's he has some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He has the best offensive line in the NFL, one of the best running backs in the NFL, a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He has some of the best he has one of the best coaching staffs offensively in the entire NFL. There's no reason to sell. If you sell Johnny Morton, if you sell the Johnny Mo show, you think he's going to be fired by week 5. That's all it is. Like, you should be buying this because this man is set up to succeed. There is nothing else around it. He has everything in position for him to succeed. I'm buying the Johnny Mo show stock here.
I'm fighting demons here, boys. I'm fighting demons. 'Cause I don't think it has to mean that you fire him by week 5. But
No,
I'm trying to think,
if you're
is
saying
he
sell,
the
you just-
long-term option, because we're talking
Yeah.
about money here, investing money.
Yep.
Is he the long-term option for the Lions at OC? And that's the demon that I'm battling with right now.
Yeah. That would
Because
be
what
fine.
I see, and when I look at this John Morton, I would feel like if there's struggles, they would have no problem turning the call sheet over to David Shaw or I'm blanking on the name, Mark Brunell. Oh, because it's high right now. There's no reason to doubt the man. That's the thing. Like, you're the Detroit Lions OC with a lot of weapons. I'm just going to stick to the narrative that I've driven, boys. I'm very, very concerned about you haven't been able to been holding a play calling job in the NFL. You've been passed around like Kim K with professional athletes as far as NFL organizations. I'm going to go with a slight sell here. Slight sell. And I'll be happy to be proven wrong.
Okay.
But I just think his stock's high, and I don't truly know if he's the long-term option at the Detroit Lions at OC, so I'm not ready to put my money there yet. I got to see it. I know that's a weak call, but right now I'm just not as confident right there at the OC spot. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I wrote it down, I had these prepared and I was still battling because I like Johnny Morton. I like him. I don't love him, but I like him. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna sprinkle some on it.
Love it.
Unit or
Hey
two.
Boone. Hey
Well,
Boone.
hey.
Little hey Boone. Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah. Just
Welcome to the dark side.
just
A little Salt Bay
sprinkle on
action.
it. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on Johnny Mo. I'm a little skeptical, but that's a tough one. Little Salt Bay sprinkle. All right, other side.
I like that one.
Calvin Shepard, buy or sell?
Buy all of the Kelvin Shepard stock. This man is going to be an NFL head coach over the next, I would say, 4 years. I am all in on Kelvin Shepard. And the one thing I love about the Kelvin Shepard stuff, boys, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I love every time. Oh, my mic just fell. Every time that Dan Campbell speaks about him over the last month since they've hired him as the DC and they've given him a promotion within, he has talked about how Calvin is just in the building, just working, figuring out, hey, this is what I want to do with the defense. He's not just going full like, hey, let's just do whatever AG did. He is already being like, I want to change this. We're keeping the structure and how this thing's done, but there are some things that I want to make a Calvin Shepard defense. And sometimes I think in the NFL, when guys take over, they typically, they might not have success because they try and just do what their predecessor. Is it predecessor the right word? Predecessor.
Yes.
What he did, and they try and copy that, but you can't because, hey, he was the one doing that. He's the one that knows how it works. You have to have your own type of defense as well, and Kelvin has to have his imprint on this defense. And every single time Dan talks about him, he mentions how he's making his imprint on this defense, and he's throwing new ideas out there. I think Kelvin's going to be a hell of a DC for this team, and with everyone healthy, to me, listen. guaranteed this is going to be a top 10 defense if everyone stays healthy with Kelvin Shepherd at the helm. And I'm pumped up for it. I really am. I'm buying all the Kelvin Shepherd stock.
Yeah, I'm buying this. I've been very excited to see what Kelvin Shepherd could do with this defense because he has been around the Detroit Lions, and they've spoken on it earlier this week when they're talking about how Kelvin Shepherd has popped around in other positional groups. Like, he knows the guys in this locker room. He knows firsthand, since he stepped foot in Detroit, the defense that Aaron Glenn and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have put together. He's been here. He's been at every practice. He's been on the sideline of every game. He knows what this team is about. He's seen the tweaks that might need to be made. He's going to try them out. They might work. They might not. But by Kelvin Shepherd, year 2 or year 3, I expect this defense to be in a better spot than it was with Aaron Glenn year 2 or year 3. Now, the defense will be in a better spot. But again, that's not disrespecting Aaron Glenn. It's complimenting Kelvin Shepherd, what he's been able to learn from Aaron Glenn. But I do think that Kelvin Shepherd one day will be one of those defensive head coaches in the NFL after what he's done in Detroit. Not saying he's going to be a great head coach, but I do think he'll get a shot to be a head coach in the NFL, just like Aaron Glenn did. And I think he's going to have better personnel. So I'm buying all the Kelvin Shepherd stock I could get.
Yeah, I'm doing a complete, I guess a complete 180. But I was skeptical about a rookie DC. But I'm buying more and more into Kelvin Shepherd. So I'm going to therefore buy more Kelvin Shepherd stock. I just think he's a great fit. Players love him, and they're gonna play hard for him. And I think he's super intelligent. He's just a bright mind guy. He's a bright mind, former player, but a bright defensive mind. So I'm excited for Kelvin. So I'm gonna this one I'm not as hesitant with, because Kelvin we've never seen become a DC, and I think his stock's only going up. So
it's as low as it can get right now.
It's low right now. So Kelvin,
you trust him?
Yeah, I'm buying all that Kelvin stock. But boys, that is the Detroit Lions stock market.
Were those two the special ones?
Those are the
Okay.
Doing coaches.
All right, that threw me off a little bit.
No, I like it. There's the stock market, boys. Hopefully, you make some money.
No.
I did see Trey McBride. Trey McBride got paid a lot of money. He's actually resetting the market. Highest paid
tight end.
Big bag alert. Yeah, he's getting
5 in receptions, boys. Huh? Learned that last week.
Yeah, that was the fun fact. He's getting a bag. Trey McBride, 4-year, $76 million extension. Deal includes $43 million guaranteed and $19 million average per year. The highest ever for any NFL tight end. Tight ends are getting into the 20s, man. That's where they're going to next. Watch Brock Bowers. Watch what he gets. Yeah. Brock Bowers would get like $25 million when he's up. So it only leaves a question.
Sam Laporta.
What does that mean for Lapots?
Man.
That's the thing you have to think about here, because in my opinion, Trey McBride's obviously, I think he's better than Sam Laporta, but Sam Laporta's an all-pro. And he's last 2 seasons, 800 yards? What do you have? You said earlier, Klotz, 1,600 you said he had?
Yeah, over the last 2 seasons, Sam Laporta has had 146 catches, 1,615 yards, 17 tutties, which is 48.9 yards per game. And the 17 touchdowns is tied for first in the NFL with Mark Andrews.
That's a lot.
He's led the NFL in receiving touchdowns in his first 2 years.
And it's hard. I mean, look at, and you brought this, and I'll let you kind of cook on it, Klotz, because you brought it up earlier. But I think, in my opinion, when you look at teams that are contenders, typically, for the most part, they always have a very good tight end. 49ers, George Kittle. Chiefs, Travis Kelce. Even the Eagles, like, they didn't have an elite tight end, but Dallas Goedert's pretty good. He's and then you look at the Ravens, Mark Andrews. You could keep going. And now the Bengals got Mike Gesicki. Yeah, who's solid. He's solid tight end. But
he's good. He's just never had a quarterback.
Yeah, he's been like a 600-700 yard guy, and you typically on good years. So when you look at tight ends in the league, and how important they're becoming now with an offensive league, when you get a tight end that can be just as good of a receiving threat as he is a run blocker, and he could do the dirty work, but also give you 700-800 yards, even potentially more, and 8-9 touchdowns. The value for having a player like that, it's a mismatched nightmare for defenses. So the importance of Laporta, I think his value cannot be understated. He's very important to this offense, based on, especially with Goff, having a tight end like that. Any quarterback, it's super comfortable having a tight end like as good as Laporta. But he's only going to get he's only going to, if not stay the same, but get better and continue to put up 700, 800, 900 yards, maybe even grace 1,000 at one point. That's a guy you just have to keep around just because it's hard to replace a Laporta, and that's the reality. So when you talk about players you have to extend, in my opinion, Laporta's got to be higher on that list. Not that you have to do it, not this offseason, but I mean, he's going into his third year. He's a years. So like, you're going to have to really consider this because guys are going to get paid, and that dude needs to be on the list to get paid because he's a damn good tight end. He had a knee injury in college, but he hasn't really. I mean, he's getting a little banged up, but he's been pretty healthy.
He was definitely injured this year. That was definitely
banged
a
up,
problem.
but he hasn't had any terrible traumatic injury where it's like concerning. But I love Laporta, pay him. But he's going to make probably, if not 20, but right around that number, amount per year. It's going to be a lot.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, Sam Laporta should not be viewed in the same conversation as a Jameson Williams situation because those are really, when you think about who needs to get paid, you think of Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jameson Williams because they're all around the same contract year, and they're both all three of them be pretty pennies. But just looking at Jameson Williams and Sam Laporta in general, because we're talking about the receiving game, a huge factor in this one is what does the NFL slowly become more? Run-oriented. For the last 7, 8 to 10 years, it's been pass. But you saw this year, especially, running backs are going to be more important. So what's going to be more important? Blocking for sure. What is Sam Laporta elite at? Blocking. His rookie year, when they're going into Lambeau Field, week 4, I believe it was, he's bodying Kenny Clark on the edge, throwing him to the ground, and Kenny Clark's a big motherfucker on the interior for the Green Bay Packers. And I'm sorry, this is just a fact of the matter. Not many wide receivers in the NFL will ever be able to do that. And when you look at what he can do with the receiving ability, again, run's going to be important. What do the Detroit Lions love to do? Play action. And Jameson Williams is incredibly important for getting the top off the defense. But at the end of the day, Sam Laporta is going to give you more catches. Sam Laporta is 1,000% a tight end that can contest for 1,000 yards in a season. So there's a threat even next year that Sam Laporta can walk away with more receiving yards than Jameson Williams. And Sam Laporta is going to give you more touchdowns because, like I said, he had 17 over the last 2 years, tied for first in the NFL. He had 7 this year. He was banged up. Guess who else had 7 touchdowns this year? Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, again, this is take out JMO, wide receiver 2 now. Okay, Jameson Williams this year had 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. There were 23 wide receivers in the NFL that did that this year, that either had 1,000 yards or 7 touchdowns. So when you're talking about who deserves to get paid more, at this point in their careers, what was Jameson Williams doing in his first 2 years? What was Sam Laporta doing? All pro, and he could have honestly been a Pro Bowler this year. In the playoff game, he had one of the catches of the year with the one-handed catch, so he's coming through in big moments. And which is harder to replace? A tight end with that production? Because Sam Laporta is top 4 in everything. Everything. You can go and look, and he's one of the top 3 in route running and probably top 5 in blocking. So Sam Laporta, at the end of the day, if you let him walk away, you're going to be chasing that elite tight end. The only thing that I think you'll be missing with Jameson Williams is that burner speed. You'll never be able to replace that, but you'll be able to replace that production. I don't know if you'll ever be able to replace, especially with this offense and how complex it is, a Sam Laporta type of tight end. So I think Sam Laporta is somebody that, honestly, this offseason, pay him $20 million. You're going to pay him, so why wait for someone else to reset that market? Why, if the Raiders or somebody else wants to extend their tight end, you don't want to be waiting around and now having to pay Sam Laporta next offseason. So maybe this is one of those contracts that you get done before if you want to wait on Hutch. But I think Sam Laporta is going to fall into that Kirby where it's those two, they got to align because at the end of the day, you can't let Sam Laporta walk away from this team. He affects the passing game and the running game. You don't have a mobile quarterback with Jared Goff. You got to protect him. You can trust Sam Laporta to sit there on the edge and block defensive ends and defensive tackles from time to time. So I think Sam Laporta is just an invaluable part of this offense.
I will say real quick too with the contract thing. I don't think you can extend Sam Laporta until after.
You're probably correct. Yeah,
I think it's a rule. I think you have to wait until after year 3 of a rookie deal to extend. So he's only coming off year 2. So you do it. You're gonna have to wait no matter what. Klotz, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's a very I don't want to say similar. I think JMO, we're going to go into this year. Guess what? JMO's going to have more yards. He is a wide receiver that has big playmaking ability. He's going to have 1,000+ yards. He's going to have more yards than Sam Laporta. His stats are going to look better. But I do think one of the biggest factors that aren't talked about enough is I think, again, Klotz, and to your point, is it easier to find a top 5 tight end in the draft, or is it easier to find a top 30 wide receiver in the draft? And it's like statistically a top 30 wide receiver. And I think that's what it is with JMO. And then to the next step of that, all right, what do the extension numbers look like? JMO is a wide receiver too. You're going to look around what? Like Klotz, you said 35. I'm in the kind of camp like you're probably going to get him around 30. And then with Sam Laporta, what are you going to get him? Around 20 million. So it's like 10 million less to where you can go get a wide receiver on a rookie deal and figure that out over. Then you have 2 years to find a wide receiver and draft one to kind of make that replacement. But I keep seeing in the chat here too, like people are listing like you have Branch, Kirby, Gibbs, Laporta, JMO. Who's the odd guy out? Like, I think we're all on the same page, and I hate it because I love JMO. I think he's a very good asset to this offense. But this is like those conversations like with the edges that we have. At some point, there's going to have to be a decision made. Like, you're going to have to make a decision. You can't sign everyone. You can't make Laporta the highest paid tight end. You can't make JMO one of the highest paid wide receivers too. You can't make Jahmyr Gibbs one of the highest paid running backs. It's not feasible to be able to do that. So in my opinion, like I'm with you boys. Like, I think JMO's the odd man out. I think there's a no doubt that you're going to have to I think Sam Laporta is just a major piece of this offense. And then like you look after year 4, again, he's not on a first round deal. So you don't have that 5th year option with him to where it's like, he's going to be getting into his prime after his contract's up and you get that new contract in there. It's like, you don't want to miss out on that. And then there's the argument. Look what they did with TJ Hawkinson. I see that in the chat. Like we had this conversation a couple months ago. Brad did do that, but I think Sam Laporta being a Brad Holmes guy drafted by them, this regime, I think it's one of those things where they stick with him and they pay him. I do. I really do. It's going to cost you, but if you're having to choose between the two, one's cheaper and one, like, yeah, he might not get the production as JMO, but compared to what other tight ends do, he's getting top 5 production at that position group. And you're able to get him for probably over 10 million more, right? Like that's just, it's kind of like the bad part of this business. You have to go through those decisions.
Yeah. And I think the thing that I guess frustrates me when we do talk about this stuff is, when you bring up that, Boone, because what you said, everything you said is correct about the value with like a 10 million less tight end. When you have a guy like Laporta who can get you 800 and 900 yards and you're paying him 10 million less than you probably would JMO, contractually it makes sense. Now, talent wise, people would say, well, JMO's talent is rare. I agree. His speed, it's incredible. Like, there's not too many players that can run like JMO can and just be the player, the big playmaker he is. But Lucas brings this up consistently. Wide receiver 2s. The reality is the volume he's going to get, which Amon-Ra, he's never going to surpass Amon-Ra. It's just how it is. Amon-Ra is the do-it-all, reliable. He's getting paid now. He's the guy. It's not really going to change. So JMO's going to kind of be that wide receiver too. And the Bengals are paying him, but look what the Bengals are going through. The Bengals are paying. They can't pay Trey because they're paying T. Higgins. They're paying Jamar. They're paying Joe. And I get if I'm the Bengals, I'm getting rid of T. You put that money towards Trey Hendrickson, and then you draft a wide receiver too. But that's just, teams kind of cave into that, and they gave money to T. Higgins. I don't know if they'll do that for JMO because I think JMO's a really good player, and I think JMO's going to get a lot of money, as he should. I just don't know if it'll be in Detroit. That's the only thing. It has nothing to do with his talent. He's not good enough. If he goes out and balls out, I'm happy for him. But I don't know if the Lions are going to pay that price tag. So if you can get Laporta, can get you, 200-300 yards less for $10 million less, you'll take that, especially with the value of having a tight end that good, so it's tough. I mean, Laporta was an all-pro, man.
They're literally like, it's
all
tough
pro as a rookie.
As a rookie. It's a tough decision. It's like a decision like you don't want to have to make, but like, it's not like I think a lot of people think it's as easy as, hey, just sign them both. Like you can't. It's just not feasible. It's like the Trey Hendrickson thing earlier today, where people are like, just do it. Like you'll win a Super Bowl. All right, like let's get a little deeper and have more conversations on it. It's not feasible to do it unless you want to move on from Kirby or Brian Branch or one of those guys. But outside of that, like to me, I would rather keep the 2 safeties and draft the next 2 years a wide receiver and try and find a replacement than be in that position. That's just personally, like I feel like that's kind of the smarter way to go about it.
Yeah, I'm curious how this thing unfolds here. I am. Like I know Schiff God put it in there, and Schiff was like, "Well, if he doesn't ball out, he's gone." Schiff, you got to think though, Schiff. If he balls out, he's gone. You know what I mean? Just because
that's the argument we're making. Like we think Jameson
Yeah.
Williams is going to be very fucking good, and he's
Yeah.
going to be playing
So
on
much
a
money.
fifth-year option and probably a franchise tag. If I had to guess, I think that'd be logical to do to franchise tag him because it's a lot for 1 year. But it's 1 year. You get another year out of Jameson Williams. But after that, man, like, which players are easier to replace as far as position? And I think wide receiver 2, especially for the money you're going to have to pay, is the bullet that you have to eat.
Yeah, it could be 30. I mean, I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, to be honest with you. But we'll see. We still have more to get to today. We're going to get to fan mock drafts later. I still want to get to it because we haven't been able to get to it the last week and then this week. I want to make sure we get to fan mock drafts because you guys are sending us mocks. We're getting them. Again, the best place to send mocks is our Crunch Time account. I know people send me on my personal. I don't always see them. So to get your mocks seen, you have to send it to the official Crunch Time Sports account. Then we'll
send some if you have some now. Send some more.
Yeah,
too.
send them now because we're going to get into something else and then we'll get to fan mocks. So you still have time. You can do a mock right now. Send it to our Crunch Time account. We'll make sure we try and get it up. But first, I do want to get to Field Yates. It is Thursday. So Field Yates came out with another mock draft. So we're going to see, and it's 2 rounds. So we're going to see what he did at 28. We're going to see what he did at 60. We'll see if we like it or don't like it. So let's get to it. Mr. Field Yates, my comp, as Lucas says. Cam Ward goes number 1.
A mixture of Field Yates and Mel Kiper.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got Abdul 2, Shadur 3.
Oh,
okay.
When was this released, by the way?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to see how up to date it was.
This is as of yesterday. So Cam Ward, Abdul, Shadur, top 3. And then 4, Travis Hunter, 5, Mason Graham. So it's looking like pretty similar. Raiders go Gentry.
Fair.
7. Your boy.
Yep.
And this is a pick that I think is a lock. Either him or if Will Campbell's there. Because I don't know
agree.
if you guys see what Aaron Glenn said about the run game, like about with Breece Hall. He's like, Breece is great, but there's 2 to 3 running backs we have on this team.
Yes.
All eat. And then think Justin Fields, like they're going to be running the football. And he saw what Penei Sewell could do. He's going to try to find his Penei Sewell, I bet.
Yeah, I've been mocking every time I've done a mock draft. I've been just doing tackle with the Jets. Other people are trying to do different things. Get a wider, someone to go with Garrett Wilson. Defensive player. To me, it's like so clear. Jets need to take an offensive lineman. Get the best if you can, and you can get the best tackle in this draft class. You do it. You protect your quarterback. You get your future. I think they're literally one offensive lineman away from having a good offensive line. They've just struggled getting that one more guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a smart pick. This is like a coming from Detroit pick. Their first pick at 7, they took Penei. Their first pick at 7, they take Armand.
You have Membu and Fashano for your whole career there. Yep. That's unbelievable. Like you're sitting in a really good spot.
Carolina takes Jalen Walker. That's not surprising. Shamar Stewart goes 9 to the Saints.
Wow.
So
by the way, he was
please don't let him fall. Please just take him. I hope he goes top 10. I'll be fine if he goes top 10. Won't care.
10, Will Campbell. That's a great pick for the Bears. Yeah. Will Campbell. He's going to be a stud. Walter Nolan goes to the 49ers.
Early. Wow.
Yeah. He's going to be good. He's going to be really good. Dallas Cowboys take Tyrell McMillan. Yeah, I saw that clip of him saying he doesn't watch film on his own. He's a Dallas Cowboy. That's perfect.
Are you selling T-Mac stock now?
No, I like him. It's probably not something you want to say for sure.
Stand on your take, Jeff. Come on.
No, I still like him. I'm not like Klotzy. I'm not selling the Ted Rowan McMillan stock.
Be good. He'll be Michael Pittman.
That's fair. I mean, but
you'll laugh at it. The dude.
No, Michael Pittman's good
and puts up numbers.
No, he's good. Like if he's Michael Pittman for the Cowboys, they're happy. I mean, it's like 1,000.
Michael Pittman. This is such a funny comp to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's such a random. I mean, I get it, but it's funny.
How did Michael Pittman do this year?
Michael Pittman is like when he's healthy, he gets suicide balled all the time, like where he's just getting killed. But Michael Pittman is fucking good. Like just like when he had Flacco, like Michael Pittman's good. Like when
at 800,
look at what he did with Flacco.
800 yards this year, man.
And but he was hurt. Like
he played 16 games.
No, dude, like watch Michael Pittman play. He plays.
No, I think he's a good wide receiver, but it does feel like a little bit of a shot.
Look at his
T-Mac.
last year.
He had 1,000 the year before. Played 16 a year.
Acting like it's a bad
he really hasn't. You said he's been hurt. He really hasn't been hurt. He played 16, 16, 16, 17, and he's only had 2,000-yard years.
Boone. That's why I'm saying watch Michael Pittman. He's playing hurt. Like he gets suicide. He gets smacked around because he's a big wide receiver. People have to hit him hard, but then he doesn't have good quarterback play, so he's just banged up all the time.
Yeah, Michael Pittman, USC alum.
Very fine wide receiver.
All right, well, Will Johnson goes to the Dolphins. Wow, that's absurd.
Steal.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey and Will Johnson. Okay. Of course, we were waiting for it.
Tyler Warren.
Pair him with Michael Pittman over there in Indy.
Josh Downs.
Top 10 wide receiver and hopefully a top 10 tight end. Oh, Jeff.
Yeah, Tyler Warren. He goes 14. 15, Mike Green goes to the Falcons. It's a good pick.
15 getting Mike Green, I feel like, is a steal.
Yeah, that's a good pick for them. They got Leonard Floyd. They drafted Braylon Trice from Washington. Now they get Mike Green. Calvin Banks goes 16. Great pick. Yep, great pick. 17. Gray Zabel 17.
That's wow.
Rich. I don't like that though, honestly.
They take Gray Zabel. Yeah, I mean a little surprising for sure. I think he'll be a good player, but I haven't seen him this high. This is the first I've seen him.
They
this
took
high.
Mims last year, and he actually played pretty well. And they just need defense.
That's from Georgia.
Yeah,
he was
he
huge.
only played like 6 or 7 games, remember? But like late in the season, he really came out and was really good.
I don't honestly though, like I don't hate the fact of them being like, let's get an offensive line to protect Joe Burrow. Like they really like they have Cody Ford starting at guard, TikTok star. Like what? Like you have a TikTok star
Cody
protecting.
Ford.
Yeah, you have a TikTok star protecting your $60 million quarterback that's supposed to lead you to a Super Bowl. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it being like, we need offensive line. We need to protect our quarterback. They it seems like sometimes they've pushed it away, and the last year they've addressed it again. I don't hate it.
I don't like the player at that spot. Like if you can go in the second,
Josh
you can
Simmons
get a Connolly or Ursley. Like there's tackles in the second you can get if you're gonna. I just think it's a reach for they have immediate needs on defense. Like they're not winning if they don't add to that defense, and there's still like James Pierce, Michael Williams is still on the board.
Yeah, honestly that's kind of a fair.
Not
point.
for Gray Zabel.
All right, well, 18 Matthew Golden to the Seahawks. That's a good pick for them.
Him
I
and
mean,
JSN
they only have Cooper Kupp and JSN. And they
Matthew Golden.
It's pretty good.
Sam Darnold's living at that point.
And then at 19, Malachi Starks playing with Antoine Winfield. That's actually
good pick for them.
Yeah, that's interesting. 20, the Denver Broncos, Amari Hampton. That's not surprising. They need a running back.
Jeff doesn't like that.
It's the Steelers. What's the Steelers? Let's see it.
Steelers, Jackson Dart.
There it is. This is the predicament I'm in though with the Jackson Dart thing. Is he is one of my favorite quarterbacks in this class. Like I love Jackson Dart. I think he's going to be very good in the NFL. But I still don't think the Steelers should take a quarterback because I guess I see it.
I actually like it. I do.
I know. It just reminds me of the Kenny Pickett thing, and it just puts me in a situation with them to where
he's better though.
100%. Listen, this is where it's like you guys could be like, no, I think Jackson Dart's going to be good in the NFL. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm just arguing the fact that the Steelers tried this, and I don't know if since Ben Roethlisberger, they have not been able to figure out this quarterback situation.
The problem is they're always like in the playoffs, so they'll never pick top of the draft. So you have to keep swinging at like basically Jackson.
I guess that's a fair. Like if you make that point, that's fair with me.
They got DK in the offseason. Roman Wilson got hurt. He's coming back for them.
That's fair.
Slot. Pat Fryermuth, take a running back.
I
like
need a running back
or something like that in the second.
They can still take a pretty good running back in the second round. I mean, we'll see how that.
I'm starting to like it more because of how much I like Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
that's why I'm starting to like it more.
I
have more faith in Jackson.
I'm going to be honest though. The last couple of years, Mike Tomlin, love him, respect him. They can't figure out offense over there.
No, it's. I
don't even know if that's a good spot for any quarterback. If I'm being honest.
It's quarterback play. That's all it's been. Like they've let go of so many wide receivers that they haven't been able to figure that out. It's just like I mean,
They just don't score points.
Najee Harris left and was like, I had no idea what we were doing on that offense. He like literally sat there. I think he had an interview with the Chargers and they asked him, he goes, he was like, the one problem in there, he was like, I didn't know what even, I was there for 3-4 years. I didn't know what the identity was on that offense for 3 years. Bad. That's a problem.
No disrespect to Tomlin. I don't want, but just where the league's going.
Defensive guy.
You want an offensive coach, man. You just do.
Arthur Smith.
Get him like an old time OC or something. Like it's somebody that you just bring back, let him coach again. Like I can't think of a candidate off the top of my head, but there's somebody. Bring in fucking Chip Kelly at this point. Like Arthur Smith ain't it.
Hire Mike Shanahan. Was he like? How old is he?
Bring him off.
There's no way he's coaching. There's no way Mike Shanahan's like,
he's like, dude,
Jackson Dart into Drew Brees overnight.
Shout out Mike Shanahan.
You know what they should do? I think they should go opposite. Like, go get one of these go get a Ben Johnson type guy. Yeah. Just let him take over the offense, and go do that. Like, change your offense.
Before they got fired from Houston, Jeff.
Oh,
Bobby Slowick. Yeah,
go get Bobby Slowick.
Mm-hmm. They hated him in Houston. I don't know what happened. It was like last year. They just hated him.
Offensive line sucked, dude.
Yeah, he went from like the most beloved OC to like the most hated OC. Yeah, it was weird. But I don't know. I was reading more up on that after. They just hate him. I don't know. He must have had a bad year or whatever. But Chargers, Colson Loveland. That's a good one. Good fit. Too bad my boy, our boy T-Conk's out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bad pick for the Chargers. Conklin's about to have a career year.
Yeah,
he's on a 1-year deal. Hey, Klotz, you're talking earlier about contract year. Contract year for Conklin.
I'd be for that. He's a hardball type of guy too.
Yeah, no, he's playing with an actual quarterback.
Disley was cutting up for him.
Dude, I want to see Conklin go for like 800 and like 7 touchdowns.
Dude, he's had like 600 with the Jets, man.
Get 1K this year.
Yeah, the Jets is. Dude,
and that was with an old Aaron Rodgers. Give him Justin Herbert.
Like Zach Wilson. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. 23, Michael Williams goes to the Green Bay.
That's a steal for them. I don't like Mike. By the way, I watched some Michael film the other day. The fact that we're not having more conversations about this kid, you could argue he's the second best edge rusher in this class with Mike Green. Like. You can really argue that. Like, this kid is insane. The fact that, like, the Green Bay Packers at 23, like, if the Lions got Michael Williams, I would flip the table over and be so pumped up on
No, he's a beast, man. He's a beast.
No one's having those convos about Michael in Detroit.
I just think in my mind, like, because you're spot on, Boone, like, I don't think national media is talking about him, but, like, Raheem Morris sitting at 16, like, he knows. You know what I mean?
I would trade up for him.
Right behind him, Jonathan Gannon, like, they know. I don't think there's any way that NFL, like the actual NFL world, lets him fall. I'd be surprised.
Look at his measurements: 6'5", 260,
34 and 3/8-inch arms.
Like this, and put him next with Hutch and DJ and Mac, and you're sitting there and you're going, oh my gosh, and you have him for 5 years. I wonder. I would take him over James
Is this crazy
Pierce,
to think?
almost like.
Is this crazy to think that if the Chargers are going to take a tight end, they could trade back?
Yeah,
like that's why I hate
Packers and get.
I don't think
Chargers go back get Colston Loveland.
I did that trade. I did that trade a 2 weeks ago.
Because you could still get Colston Loveland at 28. You know what I mean?
People told me the Chargers wouldn't want to trade back. And I said,
could you imagine that's Brad's BPA at 28, Colston Loveland? I'd walk out.
He would never.
I'd walk out. But I think Tyler Warren. Take in the middle of the first round if you really want to. I don't think Colston Loveland, honestly, is a first-round pick. Like, he's a great receiving threat, but getting back to the conversation that we just had about Sam Laporta, and even McBride's a better blocker than people give him credit for. Colston Loveland cannot block. Like, he was okay at Michigan. He's just not a good blocker. He's like a Dalton Kincaid guy. And you look back at Dalton Kincaid, was he worth a first-round pick? I think he went 25th, 24th overall. No, you should have took him in the second round. If you're taking a first-round tight end, he better be good at receiving and blocking.
Good right away.
Sounds like an Ohio State guy talking there.
Yeah, he was great in college.
He's trying to tank the stock of our Michigan men.
Yeah, he wants the Lions to get him.
To be fair, Klotzy's been boosting up the Kenneth Grant stock, so 1 for 1 there.
Yeah,
push and shove.
24, Jahdae Barron. Yeah, he's gonna be.
He's
good.
at 20. That's insane.
Yep.
That would be bad.
Donovan Jackson, that's perfect. Ohio State, right back with CJ. That's good. I love Donovan Jackson. He's going to be pretty good. 26,
Wait a
Maxwell
second.
Hairston, the Rams.
Caleb's
Did Josh Simmons get drafted yet?
No.
There's no way that
Not
his
yet.
name gets drafted over Josh Simmons. I don't see a world where that happens.
There shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be.
That's actually shocking to me seeing that.
I agree. Maxwell 20 and then 27, James Pierce.
That's a good pick for them. It really is a good pick for them. I really for the draft because I would be interested to see and I have to dive in on film more. The James Pierce or Michael Williams. I really want I want to watch some more film. I need to dive into that more. If both
Michael's definitely more of a fit. He's what they wanted at edge rusher.
Yeah, he is.
Get to the quarterback. Michael's probably better all around player, but getting to the quarterback, James Pierce. Is better at. Yeah,
I'm thinking the Michael. If you trade up to 15,
I think James Pierce has a higher upside, but I think Michael has a better floor. And
safer pick.
Yeah, but it's I don't want it to sound like he's I don't want that to sound disrespectful. I think Michael can still be really good, but I think James could really pop, or you take a risk. Maybe not. I don't know.
Something about Michael the last 48 hours.
We're sitting at pick 28, Boone. Shamar Stewart and Michael Williams are there. Who are you taking?
Michael Williams.
Okay.
Dude, again, I think, and it's just I've been seeing more about it on online over the last 48 hours. Michael, I think Michael potentially it could be all said and done the second best edge rusher in this class. When it comes to careers.
I like that.
No one's talking about Michael though. That's why when I saw it a couple days ago, I'm watching and I'm like, how is this kid not getting talked about more? Especially to Detroit. This is a kid that Brad would be all in on. I wonder if they've met with him. They went to the Bama or
Georgia.
The Georgia. Did they? No, I'm thinking something else. SEC. Did they have an SEC pro day or is that just the Big 12?
That's just the Big 12 because the Big 12 schools don't have individual pro days.
So I'm wondering where Brad would have gone and seen him.
I mean,
top 30 visit, maybe
they have scouts there, man. If they had a lot of guys at Buffalo's pro day, they
even at the combine, I didn't see his name pop up, which is kind of weird. I feel like that's a guy Brad would be I want to meet with.
It's those damn Georgia players, man. They can't. I mean, just don't get behind the wheel when you drink. Except for Michael, he's been solid.
I mean, not even drink. I mean, they just have a Fast and Furious situation going on in Georgia right now. I don't know what's happening there. I mean, what's his name? The head coach there, he needs to figure this thing out.
And the ironic part is when I lived out in Georgia, everyone drove slower. So I don't know where everyone was chill. They drive southern.
You're giving 18, 19, 20-year-old kids Beamers, Rolls Royces.
They're actually nice down there. Hey, from Michigan to Georgia, they just go at their own pace. They let you in.
Boys, can we just I want to do some investigating. I want to figure out if the Lions at all have spoken with Michael Williams. I'm trying to think. I would love to know.
We'll find out.
He feels like a guy Dan would say, or Brad would be like, I'm going to 15 for him.
Yeah, you never know. He's a guy. If they love him, they'll go get him. Well, let's see who they got. They didn't have to move up in this one.
Shifgott said they probably haven't. That's disappointing because Derek
Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, goes to the Lions. And Field Yates puts in here that it has a little bit to do with Aleem McNeil. And he mentions how his 34 pressures in his lone year with the Ducks was by far the most of any FBS defensive tackle. He's got the length, the power, and the point of attack and pursuit speed as a rusher to make a difference. I really like Derek Harmon. I do. I really like Derek Harmon. He's going to go around this pick anyway. So if I'm being real, maybe I'm not jumping up and down saying I love this. They got the best player in the draft, but I think Derek Harmon will be a pretty good pro. I think this is if they like him, I can see exactly why. I talked about it when I drafted him. I drafted him a couple times. I drafted him at 40, 50 in the mock. Obviously, mocks are all over the place. I get it. But when I drafted him, the thing I mentioned is, especially in pass rush sets as a defensive tackle, I mean, he mentions the pressures, but he gets after the quarterback, man. Derek Harmon's not just some big big for nothing. The BFN. He's not big for nothing. He's big and he makes plays.
I would like to say something.
What would you like to say?
I'm out on this pick.
I'm with you, Boone.
Kenneth Grant's on the board, and you went Derek Harmon.
No, Kenneth Grant's not picked yet.
Kenneth Grant is on the board.
I would be okay
Derek
for that.
Harmon,
dude, that's insane.
Jahad Campbell.
He has
also
Jahad Campbell after as well. I think Jahad and Kenneth Grant. I think you're looking at both of them. I like Derek Harmon. Listen, and Jeff, everything you said, agreed. Like I think he instantly would come in, and especially with the Leam out, like you have a guy that can come in and help you out, and you can. It's an instant impact. Boom, boom. I'm higher on a Kenneth Grant than I am a Derek Harmon.
Yeah, I get that.
Where it's like if Kenneth Grant and Derek Harmon on the board, all of the top edges are off, which is right now kind of the case, unless you wanted to trade back. But if you're like you have to stay and pick at 28, all of those guys are off the board. I would run so fast. You know those videos of Brad and them banging the table, hitting each other in the chest? Like, if this happens and wherever we're at for the draft, I'm going to tackle one of you guys. Like, and Kenneth Grant just sitting there at 28, and you're like,
he's a Raku.
Here we go, boys. He's a rock. Oh, wait a second. He's a Raku's not drafted yet?
No.
That's number one then. There's no way you don't take he's Raku. That's my guy.
I don't. Mike Green was.
This is a weird draft.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
and again, you can move back. Like, honestly,
you're taking Donovan here.
Like, I know that he's not trading back; he's keeping the selections. But trade back, get value in the second round, and take Tyreek Williams or TJ Sanders in the second round. Like, there's guys that you can get in the
Derek
second
Harmon,
round. Value.
He's going to be better than those players.
But all right, but Klotz, Donovan Izaraku is sitting on the board here.
Yeah, I'm saying yes,
Kenneth Grant,
1,000%. Realistically,
both of them. Oh my gosh, what is
Kenneth
he doing?
Grant's like my number one player for this draft. I think he can walk away as the second or third best defensive lineman, interior and exterior included, career wise. But I'm saying, like, I don't think those guys will be there. If they are, you're completely right. But I'm not saying that Harmon won't be like those guys. But when you're talking about, do you really need a defensive tackle like that badly, or you can add value and get someone that's like near that tier? Like Tyreek Williams is very good. TJ Sanders is very good out of South Carolina. Harmon's a better prospect, absolutely. But I think if you take any of those guys, they're going to succeed for the Lions.
I'm with Klotz. I do think there's defensive tackle, but like again, if the guys that are currently on the board are on the board, and you go Derek Harmon, I don't want to be one of those guys where it's like you're questioning Brad Holmes, but Donovan Izaraku, you're running to the board, and you're saying, boom, give us Donovan, and if he's not on the board and Kenneth Grant's sitting there, give me Kenneth Grant, and then it's like the Derek Harmon, but. I'm leaning towards Klotz to where if those two guys are off the board and Derek Harmon's sitting there, I would trade back and maybe get some assets, and then maybe he's still on the board. Like there's a chance that he falls to the second.
He won't.
The's a chance.
I can live with that though.
But I know, and maybe I'm planting my flag because I really think Derek Harmon's going to be a really good player, dude.
But he's not going to be like Walter Nolan. Like he's not going to be Walter
I don't
Nolan
think
or Kenneth
the difference.
Grant.
Go on.
Go on.
No, go on. You can finish.
I think when I think of Derek Harmon, he's a late first round guy, going to be in the first like couple picks in the second round. But then I think there's a tier of guys that are like clear middle of the second round guys. And if you're passing up on a more position of need or a more talented player for Derek Harmon, like you should have just traded back. Like if Walter Nolan's on the board here, I'm like perfect because I think there's like there's a tenacity to Walter Nolan's game. He was able to get 4 sacks at Texas A&M, the school he can't get sacks at. Then goes to Ole Miss and puts up 7 sacks. So Walter Nolan's able to do that. So I think there's a difference between him and Derek Harmon.
What a comment, man!
Yeah, the school.
What a school can't get sacks.
That's
it's because he's a D tackle. D tackles get more sacks than edge rushers.
Yep. Yeah, but
he was there with Shamar Stewart, by the way, too.
I know.
But
and
this can we just
34
pressure, quick.
43
We don't need to go down this.
No, I'm not
rabbit hole.
talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that, and I love Field Yates, does a great job breaking things down. This, and maybe, honestly, and maybe this is one of those moments, boys, and I know over the last few years covering the draft and doing content during the draft, you realize it very quick to where guys you think go in the first round go to the second. Guys you think are in the second go in the first. Where a guy like Field Yates, typically, he's having conversations maybe with GMs and different agents and things like that. Maybe he has a better feel for what's going on. But again, if you're sitting there going, you're the Detroit Lions, and Donovan Izaraku is on the board at 28, and Kenneth Grant and Derek Harmon. If you ranked those 1 to 3,
Campbell
and Jahad Campbell, but if you rank those guys 1 to 3, I think almost in every single Detroit Lions fan, whoever covers the team, I would even say most national media people would probably go Donovan Izaraku, Kenneth Grant, Derek Harmon. And I think that's a fact. Like, I don't think there's a world you can make an argument where Derek Harmon's above those two guys.
I know. I'm just looking 6'5".
You like him?
No one's saying he won't be good.
No. I'm saying where
is he better than Donovan Izaraku and Kenneth Grant?
I will say this. Kenneth Grant, Kenneth Grant's an excellent player. But what you guys are saying, and where I'm not saying you're saying this, but this is what I'm saying. I don't think the drop-off's that big, if I'm being honest. I don't. No, I don't. Derek Harmon, dude, 6'5", 310.
I'll do my homework.
He's a pass rush. He can get to the quarterback. He's really good against the run. I mean, dude, 6'5", 310 guys that can move like that don't grow on trees. All right.
Hold on, but we're talking about Kenneth Grant here. We're not talking about Walter
Nolan. I would still. You know what? To be fair,
there's a gap. It goes, in my opinion, Mason Graham.
Yes.
It's Kenneth Grant.
Yes.
Gap, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, the rest. Kenneth Grant's surefire.
Now, this is where we're going to debate. What's gap?
Gap is like, there's a significant, I would probably say, we're talking about, when I look at the all-pro guys at the defensive line, as far as interior, I'm looking at Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant.
All right,
guys. Now we're talking.
Wait, go back. Who's 30? Who's 29?
29 was Nick Amaniwari.
Okay, 29. Who's 30?
And then Josh Connerly they trade up to get Josh Connerly to the Patriots.
Good pick. Good for them.
Luther Burden, Jahad Campbell.
Luther Burden where?
To the Raiders. They trade. Kansas City and Buffalo both trade out in this scenario.
Again, this is the conversations within this draft right now. Is next year's draft is better. A lot of teams that are already established, they're saying might trade back, take assets in the future. Jahad Campbell to the Eagles.
I would hate that.
It's a great pick. This is a 2-round.
Tyler Shuck.
Wow!
33.
That's
crazy.
They said we don't want Shedeur at 2. We want Tyler Shuck at 33.
That's crazy.
We want Tyler Shuck.
Crazy.
Dude, if you got to see him throw at the combine and then you watch his film, this kid is legit. Well, you can say the age all you want, but he knows how to. I mean, you should. Hey, Klotz, what was he doing? Just running the ball or just running around?
Hey,
look how the guy runs out there.
Klotzy. Louisville, quarterback type of school besides
Lamar.
Okay.
Teddy Bridgewater. Tyler Shuck.
Teddy Bridge? He's doing.
He also. Am I wrong? Where else did he play? What other schools did he play?
He played at Oregon, like his freshman year, and transferred out, and because he didn't really play.
Where else? Bo Nix just came from Oregon.
He didn't play. They thought, okay, he's and
now
he's had like
playing.
5
Here's
serious
the thing,
injuries.
though. They're saying, you know what, we could have a guy who could be very similar to an Andy Dalton at 2, or we can have a little bit more of a risk and suck next year. Have a guy with a high ceiling and Tyler Shuck at 33. Oh, and we picked up that dual card in the process.
Kenneth Grant.
Oh, what a great pick for them, too. That's probably
Oliver.
The best value out of the whole draft so far.
Yeah,
35. I mean, that too. There's zero chance he's a rock. Dude, what's going on with Field?
Josh Simmons, they trade back and get Josh, the Chiefs.
That's
dude.
Tyler Booker to the Giants. That's
Klotz. I mean, and this guy is like, give me Derek Carmen.
Emeka Ibuka joins Roma Dunze and DJ Moore.
That's
huge.
I don't get
Look at this next one.
Jane
Higgins with Chris Olave.
Quinshawn Judkins for the Bears
that.
too. That's a good
Slow
one.
down here, Hefe.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
on
God,
our
they're
end,
just
Jeff.
getting
It's like glitchy, so you have to like you're going quick through it, but we it's glitching
Okay.
on our end, so we can't see him.
42, Mason Taylor,
Taylor.
Ariante Irsay, your boy, 43.
That's a great pick for the Niners.
Cowboys take
Great pick for
Henderson.
the Cowboys.
Good for them. Good for the Cowboys. That's a great pick. Who did they get in the first round?
They got Ted
T-Mac.
McMillan.
Wow, offense.
Carson Schlesinger.
Corey
Replace
Schlesinger?
EJ Speed.
No, Carson Schlesinger. Yeah, he's bad.
He's nice. He's nice.
Falcons,
on.
Darius Alexander.
Good for them. That's a
Nick
good pick.
Sporton goes 47.
Good pick for them. They need a
This
D
is-
lineman. That's at
Get another
47.
Darius Robinson.
Jonah Savai Anea. Yeah.
Arizona. I don't know. He's a
Lineman
T-Mac
with him.
teammate. He's going to be great.
Azar. Oh, whoa.
This is good for the Ravens or Ravens. Fucking Bengals.
Bengals. Azare
I don't know
Thomas.
why I just said Ravens.
Azaria.
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 Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be good.
Did my voice crack, boys? Huh?
Yeah, no, that was epic.
Epic.
Yeah, look at. I mean, it's Jared Wilson.
Wait, go back. Elijah Royal Klotz.
Oh,
Is this a
oh.
kid that's like 29?
No. He's like you're thinking of somebody else. He's like an Isaiah Likely.
Okay.
He
love
had
that.
like making
Heard a lot
it
about
up. I
this
don't know
kid.
if the exact stat line. He had 35 catches, 8 of them were touchdowns, and he could fucking fly.
17 yards per catch. That's big. Seahawks.
Yep, Seahawks. Jared Wilson. It's a great pick.
Good pick.
Corner
And
for the
Morris. They're cleaning up their secondary room. Nice.
Jack Beck.
Wow. Going before Xavier Restrepo.
Yeah, he there's no way that
Alec.
he's not.
Yeah,
Alec.
Chargers.
That's
got
great
him.
pick for the Chargers, dude. They got two weapons, Alec and Colston
Ladd.
Loveland.
Oh yeah, duh.
Yeah, they
And
drafted
Ladd. And
Loveland.
yeah, they have
Hey,
Ladd.
Jim gets his Stanford Cardinal.
Yeah, that's a good point too. JTT to the Bills.
Oh my God, him and Kenneth Grant.
It's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Jalen
That
Noel.
defense.
Jalen Noel is going to be really good. That's
Yeah, he
he's
is.
twitchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jane Higgins will be better, but yeah, he'll be good.
I agree.
Panthers get a dog. Jalen Noel, and then Kyle Williams, 58 to the Texans. Some that juice.
Love. Hey, by the way, Kyle Williams and I feel like I was like one of the first ones on him, and I sent it to Klotz that watched this kid and the speed. He kind of reminds me with his speed. Sorry, I got an eyelash. He kind of reminds me a little bit too of the speed of like a JMO. I don't, and obviously JMO's a different level, but like if you're looking at like
just fly.
yeah, like if you're looking at the Lions to replace a guy like JMO and that speed and kind of playmaking ability, go watch Kyle Williams and see that like this kid is like. Any open space, boom, touchdown. He's gone. Like no one's catching him.
59 Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. 60 Tate
pick.
Ratledge, guard for the Lions out of Georgia. That's who they take.
I'm
Tate
fine with
Ratledge. Yeah,
I honestly like this pick at 60 more than I like Derek Harmon at 28 because they have to give both Graham Glasgow and Christian Mahogany like legitimate competition. Like, hey, if you don't perform in camp, you're not going to start. I think if you walk in with Mahogany and Graham Glasgow, and again, it can happen, especially with Brad Holmes, with like another 6th-round rookie. Like, I think that's a different mindset than, hey, we just got a guy out of Georgia who's an All-American type of player, was on national championship teams, and we took him at 60. So we're not just going to waste this pick. Graham, you got to pick it up. Christian, you got to prove that you can do this consistently because it's so important for this run game and protecting Jared Goff. And again, you're going to get cheaper if you get a good guard here at 60.
Yeah, Dan did bring up again. This was Dan showing some of the hand of the draft, but Dan brings up and goes, "Yeah, we're gonna look for someone to come in and compete." Even like he like mentioned like a draft pick, like he was like someone we bring in through the draft. He was like, we're gonna get a guy in here to compete. So that was where it was like, class. Remember the other day we're like, yep, they're gonna get someone. I don't know how I feel like defensive tackle and guard. Like I maybe it's just me. Like I want a guaranteed edge in the first 2 rounds. I want to guarantee. I want someone to cross from Hunch. I know.
By the way, I
Well,
wanted
I would
to
like an
shout
edge
out.
rusher.
This is on us for not acknowledging it earlier, but Big Back for Life, man. Appreciate the $5. JMO, we're in
Great
one.
name.
1,510 TDs plus. Yeah, I like it. Appreciate it, man. 500 First Legion.
Hope so.
Member. Crunch Time member. Appreciate that. Bold prediction, golf better 2025 than 2024. Appreciate the donations, fellas, and the membership.
Huh?
I know. You know what?
Put
I'm sorry. You know what? I got to put my hand up. The Field Yates mock, it was just too good. It was like interesting. It was
Took
not
over.
good. It was interesting. Sorry. Now maybe be
I was about to leave the
controversial.
show.
But it was too interesting. It took up most of the time. So we promise we'll get to fan mocks. We're collecting more and more. We'll do like a 30-minute segment on it one day. I promise. We won't.
Maybe Monday or Tuesday.
We got plenty of time, and we have weeks until the draft. So
We're off tomorrow for the people too, just so people know. We're off
Fuck,
tomorrow.
I forgot. No mock.
Yeah,
We do
no
a
no
mock
show
draft
tomorrow
Monday,
because
boys.
we're gonna be downtown for opening
Yeah,
day all
older
day.
spot.
Michigan Panthers game tomorrow night at 8, and we'll be covering it. So on our socials, everything will be. But remember, Saturday, Pistons game.
Pistons
if you're in the
game.
chat right now and you want to, it's the final Pistons game of the year. Go buy some
Memphis
tickets.
Grizzlies.
We're gonna do like a little, I don't know what we call
meet
it,
and
like
greet,
meet and
you know,
greet
hang out, chill
at halftime of the
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
So come through.
So
a good
halftime of the
time,
game, Saturday night at Pistons. We'll tweet it out too. But we'll be at the Pistons store over there at halftime. So go get a ticket right now while they're still pretty
Yeah,
good price.
they're not that expensive. I mean, come out and hang. I mean, at least they're not Lions expensive, and you get to watch some good ball.
Some
Can
playoff
we-
ball.
Yeah.
Playoff ball. Can we I just want to say this. I would like to bookmark the Field Yates draft, that mock draft, that one specifically, because I want to be able to go back and see guys like Donovan Izaraku, Josh Simmons, Kenneth Grant all go in the first round and look back and be like, well, why did Field Yates have them going 35, 36, 37, 38? Not even like 32 or 33. Like,
We should make that a segment where, like, after the draft, like right after, like a week goes by, we revisit old mocks.
yeah. Jeff, make a doc and just put the links in there and we'll go back. But this is one that needs to be like the first one we do because
That
this
would be
one's kind
fun.
of ridiculous.
Like even last year to see where like guys were going in mocks, that'd be fun to look and see like where
Yeah.
Taron Arnold was going. He's
we
probably
can
going,
look
like,
at some
top
of our
12.
mocks in the first.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Teddy, appreciate the $2. He says thoughts, Gibbs changing number to 0. I don't like it.
I love it.
It's just I think it's just weird, Teddy, when you see you see some certain positions with certain numbers. You know, I get it. Like 0 with running back.
Do we really think those zeros going to affect Jameer?
No,
Gibbs?
it's just
That's
a
what
more
I'm saying.
about
I could
thing.
give a damn.
Yeah,
It looked cool.
But I'm gonna be honest. I like 0. I like the number. So I'm a little indifferent on that. But
Agent Zero, man.
yeah, I actually like the number.
Or Sub-Zero.
But 26 was, you know, he didn't like it, but it started becoming Gibbs' number. You know what I mean? Just it's like a JMO at 9 now. It's
Yeah,
like,
but now 0 could be for real. Like you don't think of anybody like that. It's always dudes that are like on the last leg of a career, or like
yeah,
this is my breakout year, and it's like, dude,
no, it ain't.
you ain't that.
I do really think too, like some of these guys, especially like Jameer Gibbs, like I it would cross my mind if I was as good as Gibbs. Like I need to pick my number to where it's like if that goes in the rafters or in the Hall of Fame or in like the Lions pride, it's like number 0. Like that's a sick one to be able to retire. Like 26 is cool, but like imagine being the guy to retire number 0 for the Lions. Like that's sick.
It's like when you look up and what was Taj Gibson 76 when you look up in the Bulls rafters.
I don't know if he was
I'm
76.
fucking with you. It was either 67 or 76. I always
did
just
have
thought
a
it was
weird
the
number.
weirdest fucking thing in the world.
I think it's
I
cool
mean,
retired numbers. At someday though, there's like teams that will just never have numbers left.
Shout out Benji, man. That's my guy. He just posted he has JMO's jersey and Gibbs, their old numbers. So he said, I'm down bad, boys. Hey,
We are doing a
appreciate the call.
jersey giveaway too for the people.
Yeah, we got a jersey giveaway going on. So if you're already subbed, you just go over and follow us on social and, you know, share the tweet, tag a friend, however you want to do it. As long as you qualify, you could win a jersey. When the numbers get released, you could order one of those. So, hey, we'll be back. We won't be here tomorrow, like we said. We'll be downtown for the Tigers game. If you're going to the game, come hang out. I think it's It's downtown. They do the big event. I forgot what it's called exactly, but it's at the tent. I mean, there's a big ass tent, and we'll be there hanging out. Sure, we'll see some of the people from Woodward over there, hang out with some of our old friends, or still friends, actually, not old friends. We'll hang out with them, have a good time, and then later we're going to the Panthers game. So we'll be at the Panthers game, and then Saturday we got the Pistons game. So it'll be a good weekend.
Hey, you know who we get to see tomorrow? Matt Corral. He'll be in the building.
Oh yeah.
Stephen Gilmore will be in the building.
I'm going to be honest. Me and Adam really liked Matt Corral.
I did too. I loved him coming out of Ole Miss, dude. He was legit.
Adam, I got to call Adam about that one. Matt Corral.
I think he's our starting quarterback for the Birmingham Stallions.
When he went to the Panthers, I was like, ooh, okay.
Matt Corral and Will Greer, I remember where people were just hyping them up for no reason.
Greer,
what are
West Virginia.
What a pull, Will Greer.
They were both very good in college, but it was so obvious. Like, dude, these guys are like college good.
Yeah. Matt Corral, I don't know, dude. There was something about Matt Corral where I did believe.
No, I agree.
The aura.
No.
The visor.
He could play, dude. He could play ball.
If you think Jackson Dart's going to be good, you probably thought Matt Corral is.
No.
He
Jackson
crawled.
Dart
So Jackson
Peyton Manning for all-time passing. He owns all the Ole Miss records. Not to mention, you just watch Jackson Dart under pressure. Jackson Dart under pressure is so good. Matt Corral was like full of highlights, but like
a cheap lawn chair.
Everyday throws.
Yeah, that's.
Hold on, can we just look at the stats real quick? And I'm a big Jackson Dart fan. I think Jackson Dart's going to be very good.
Hold him up.
Matt Corral, just the only thing he used to get hurt. That was the thing. He would have some bangs. He would get banged up.
I just want to see like one of their years. I don't want to see all of them. I want to see like who like their best years. Matt Corral.
Lucas said the aura.
3,400 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. 29 touchdowns.
Like he was. I'm not.
Guess how many touchdowns Jackson Dart had at his best?
Huh?
Who do you think had the most passing touchdowns in the season? Jackson Dart or Matt Corral?
I'm gonna guess with you saying this, Matt Corral.
Well,
both 29.
But you can't look at that too. I know. I'm not sure. I love Matt Corral. I got to Justin Herbert. Check his numbers. It's mid.
Hey, we're talking about just college here. I don't care about anything else.
Why are we fighting a hill for Matt Corral right now? Like Matt Corral wasn't even projected to go in the first round.
Justin Herbert turned into a really good quarterback, but Matt Corral did not. I'll admit.
Justin Herbert get into this.
Remember Oregon? He was always fine in Oregon.
Yeah. He went behind Tua.
Yeah, he was always. But then you see him translate. You're like, oh my god, this guy was insane. But we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your night and weekend, man. We'll be back.
Love you guys. Monday.
As always, chase to 13K. I think we're like 40 away. So
Saturday night, Pistons game. Be there.
Be there.
Halftime. Pistons store.
Peace.
Matt fucking Corral.